Lian and Becca are for some reason on the graphic twice, so that'll be fixed at some point very soon, I would imagine. But more chances to qualify, the better, I suppose. And one way to do that for sure is put your name in the basket twice. So Becca and Hong Lian thinking ahead of the pack right now.
Yeah, definitely. We were missing K3 Soju and I believe Chi2X, who are below godlike. And
I was gonna say I would guess they're a little bit lower there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Godlike not at the bottom of the list overall. It is like you mentioned, Soju and Chi2X. Yeah. Bummer.
Yeah, so very excited for these upcoming games. Hopefully we will see some nice performances again. If Becca can continue her streak with her Brawler Blasters being very, very consistent yesterday, maintaining a top 4 in every single one of her games. I think winning some of them as well.
Yeah, Becca yesterday, looking at her results, she had a 4th, 1st, 3rd, and 4th. So an extremely good day for Becca. Playing Brawler Blaster, actually, I believe it was all 4 games in yesterday's matches. I'm double checking right now. But yeah, it certainly was. Brawler Blaster, all 4 games for Becca yesterday, and finding really good results with it. And she was doing the Rebels edition for those games when she could get to it as well. So adding in the Sona to kind of power up the Jinx just a little bit more,
Yeah, she added the Sona in instead of going for later on the ASOL.
Right.
You can use the Sona as a transition piece between when you have 4 brawlers and 2 blasters, and then you throw in the Sona for Rebel.
Yeah.
Before getting in that final blaster, and they're able to actually scale very, very well. And then eventually, when you get the ASOL, you can replace the Sona.
So the lobbies for today, as you can see them on our screen right now, we're going to start things off with set 5. That's going to include Becca, Ine, Soju, Karam, DoA Yuuj, Godlike, Honglian, and Sarian. Oh my gosh, why did I forget how to pronounce his name? Save me.
It's Saihan Saren.
Saihan, yeah. So we've been calling him like Saihan, but we have like Saren right there. What would you say? Which should we go with?
So his name in China is actually Saihan Saren, and so we have a little bit of a mix between it. So
all right, which would you had to pick one?
Yeah, you just pick one.
Okay,
I think it's easier to just go with Saihan.
Yeah, makes the most sense. We only have sorry, Saihan Saren. We've got a limited amount of time as casters, right, to say things like names. We're trying to talk about a game, right? We're trying to talk about tons of champions and abilities and units and strategies and compositions and positioning and ability interactions and board placement and which board are you going to run the way the farthest on. We don't have time to say 2 names for one player. Come on. Who do you think you are? Michael Jordan? I mean, we'd say both of his names. He's a superstar. You got to earn it. That's right. You played some cool sorcerer builds, so you're getting there.
Yeah, Saihan played a lot of Vanguard Sorcerer yesterday, was able to pull out very on top with everything. And then he started saying, hey, Milk, I'm coming for you with these mech builds.
Yeah.
I'm going to compete after getting 2 firsts, and we're going to knock you down some pegs.
He had a pretty good day, honestly. He did take that 1/8 in one of his mech infiltrator games, but the next game he came back and was able to grab 3rd. Delicious Milk kind of forced away from a lot of the mech infiltrator play. In fact, he didn't play it at all yesterday. He played like a weird dead Pikachu attempt build in game number 1, and then it was 3 games of Darkstar for him. And struggled a little bit, honestly. He managed 1 second place at the end of the night, but the other results were 8-7, 4-2. So Delicious Milk definitely giving up some points in the standings, despite the fact that he's still, I believe, 2nd overall in the standings.
Yeah, he did
3rd overall, rather.
Play a couple of the Zaya strats in the reroll galaxies. He did, since everyone was just fighting for those rerolls over and over again.
Well, it's time. Finally, we're getting into the game. We're going to start things off with Godlike, one of our Chinese representatives here. And it's a full item carousel, so no special galaxy. But we are going to see some interesting choices being made first off. Let's see what everybody ended up with. And it looks like he ended up getting the cloak. So, I mean, that's a valuable item in the late game a lot of times, but Early game, it's not going to benefit you all that much. So unfortunate for Godlike to end up with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the cloak he might just leave on the Leona. He doesn't really need to move it because the cloak doesn't. It doesn't really give that great stats in terms of just giving you a little bit of dodge, a little bit of crit chance, and a little bit of armor.
Right.
But more or less, the effect is what makes that item good, and you generally just want to line it up in the front line.
Yeah.
So just
Finds a belt.
whoever you can.
Finds a belt. Has a couple gold to spend. There's a Graves and a Leona there. Just decides to toss in the Graves. Pick up the Zoe as well. So I wonder if we're going to see Godlike go for the Candyland, go for the hyper roll again. He's played it nearly every game so far. Let me look up his stats here. He played it. He played a reroll comp for 3 out of his 4 games yesterday. He only played like a standard comp, Brawler Blaster, in game number 2, and the results were kind of all over the place. He had a 7th, a 6th, a 7th, but then a 1st in the very last game. So he did end up winning one, but that was with 6 Star Guardians added in at level 9 because of a Star Guardian spatula. So it was kind of like the insane best game ever situation for him.
Yeah, definitely got very lucky in that game in terms of just item rolls, but also he has been fairly unlucky throughout the series yesterday as well. So
Right.
Eventually you're gonna get lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, you play enough
being
games
said,
and that happens. And
he was
he's
able to
not.
buy on his previous shop as well, just selling the Ash
Mhm.
with 3 gold. So he is well on his way to getting all these 1 costs.
The thing is we know Godlike is not a bad player. He was a high-ranking player on the Chinese ladder. So you don't get to a high rank on any TFT ladder by being a bad TFT player. But this tournament has just not worked out very well for him. He's only gotten in the top 4 twice in 8 games.
Yeah, it's and both times I think he came out he came out second once and then a first once, right?
Yeah,
So
that's right. Second in his first game ever, and then first in his most recent game. Decides to build the Kazakhs too, which I think is probably a wise move at this point.
yeah, definitely Kha'Zix is a very it's very good early game if you can have a good front line due to the fact that he will jump into the back
Mm-hmm.
and just he won't take any aggro provided your front line doesn't die. It should be
Yeah, and
very
I
good.
mean, it's going to be interesting to see this cloak operate. Obviously, hitting a Malphite does nothing, but it could prevent a couple important abilities from going off. Where these early fights, basically one ultimate determines the winner and the loser in a lot of cases if the star levels are comparable. So I can see the cloak being useful, maybe, just not in this particular game, not in this particular round. Does
I
win
mean,
pretty handily though.
he wins around pretty handedly. Like he just has better units at the moment than Honglian does.
Yeah.
Picks up a Graves too. Is he
Hmm.
gonna swap it out or level up?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think you probably put the Graves 2 in, right? Just for the extra strength. Doing a little bit of scouting here, seeing what
Yeah,
everybody
Graves.
else has. Oh my, there's another person looking like they want to hyper roll, and they already have a chalice. So does he stay committed to the Candyland opening?
I don't know. He leveled up, so it doesn't seem very likely, but it's possible.
Yeah. I mean, you can always do your roll down at level 5 after Krugs. That's generally when you do it anyway, and you still have a 40% chance to find 1 cost. So it's not terrible.
Not terrible, but you always will go for the more optimal one,
Right.
especially in these cases.
Yeah, it seems
Although
like
it
you
is a
need to
bit
roll
greedy, and
down.
Chinese players tend to be a little bit less greedy than the North American players, who usually will just choose to not level.
Yeah. I feel like if you're playing this build, I've been thinking about when to roll down, and initially it was at 3-1, but I think a lot of people are gonna probably start rolling down like right before they hit 5,
Yeah,
which normally would be 3-1 if you don't spend anything on levels. But if you do, he would end up rolling down like right after carousel, basically.
yeah, and it seems a little early to be rolling down. You don't have any gold to be really rolling in the first place, so it
Yeah.
just doesn't seem very viable.
So he's probably not doing it this time, despite having a propensity for doing it a lot yesterday and the day before.
Yeah.
We will see. Going up against some Protectors players, Redemption on the Fiora early is usually pretty nice. He is running into Ine, who does have the Twisted Fate 2, and Ine actually picked up the Zeke's Herald from the carousel. And if you think about what that could do for like a Xayah or something like that, it'd be pretty good, but he has not hit a Xayah yet.
Yeah, thinking about it, he does have 2 Chrono and a Zeke's. So if you
Yeah.
combine those, he has a lot of extra attack speed over the other team just from the start of the fight.
He's
I
definitely
think
going to
that
have a lot
will,
of bursts early on.
and so it will let him get his spells off quicker in
Right.
that case as well.
So it is a pretty normal carousel. It looks like a little bit of everything. Godlike second pick, maybe going to go for that chain vest. No, decides to grab the gloves instead. Trying to remember what items he had in his bench. I wasn't looking.
I don't quite remember either. I believe there was a Giant's belt.
Yeah, he had a belt. That's right. I think that might have been it actually.
I feel like he had one more item. I just don't remember what it was.
Right. But it's only the first game of the night, guys. We've got 7 more. Don't worry. We'll become a little bit more attentive later. We're gonna go over to Karm X's viewpoint right now. Has a couple good items you can make. Thinking about the Giant Slayer, thinking about the Bloodthirster.
Well, we've seen Kurum play a lot of Dark Stars lately, so he looks like he wants a Runin's Hurricane.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's I don't know why I didn't think about that. That is probably a better use of it. But for now, he's just using it for the cybernetics buff on the Leona.
Yeah,
Using just the just the cloak.
It's literally not it was just bugging out. It wasn't going on the Lucian, so he bought another unit and dropped it on it to reset.
Yeah, that's weird. All right. I've never seen that happen before. Have you?
Me neither, but I think that's always a good way to solve your issues. Just turn it off and on again.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. Have you tried powering the item off and back on again? It works. As much as you don't like to hear it, it works.
Continue his streak. That redemption doing tons for him in that fight, actually.
So looking at possibly pick up the Zoe, there is a Shaco early on. So if he does want to go for the Dark Stars, might want to pick that up. But it's a little bit early to include the Shaco on your board. So he'll probably just leave it for now and kind of count on finding a different one later. The economy is probably the more important thing right now.
Yeah, Kurum was considering right there, did he want Chrono or did he want to keep Vanguard in? I think Vanguard was definitely more important in that situation, especially to make the Leona his main tank for these fights. Very important. And you're going to see here Ine or Kurum lose their win streak.
One of them has to lose it at some point, and that point is now. But that's a really buff TF, actually, with the Trap Claw, with the sword and everything like that. He is a ADTF at his finest. Caitlyn shot comes through, strikes the TF, but just hits the Trap Claw. Wow. That's really good.
That Fiora, though, is going to probably... Oh, wait.
Well, I don't think it's going to be enough, because that Lucian has no items besides just the bow. Yeah, so it was close, but not going to be able to win that one.
I was expecting the Fiora to actually kill the TF with the riposte, but it actually did not happen, and so TF was able to get another round of cards off and killed the rest of his team.
Right. So, Cybernetic Vanguard start at the moment. Like you mentioned, though, might just be ending up going towards Darkstar.
Yeah, Darkstar seems like one of Kurum's favorite comps to just kind of move into these days. It's much less contested, so it just seems usually you only have 1 or 2 Darkstar players in the lobby now.
He did play Darkstar 3 out of his 4 games last night, and the game that he did not play Darkstar, the Brawler Blaster game, was by far the worst. He got 8th in that one, whereas it was 6th, but then the 3rd and a 2nd with the other 2 Darkstar games. So kind of a 50-50 night for Kurum X. And so, yeah, I think if he sticks with the Dark Stars, that's what has been working the best for him.
Yeah, it definitely looks like people want to go to, a lot of people like going the Candyland route. So you have Kurum right here just picking up a Poppy saying, I'm going to just stop all of you guys.
Yeah.
We're going to hold our Poppies till after.
Why not, right? I mean, it's not hurting his econ or anything like that. Runins and possibly an Infinity Edge on the solution to hold items for the Jin later. He's got a couple options. He could wait and see if he can turn it into a Guardian Angel as well.
Yeah, he definitely seems like he wants to wait. Maybe he wants to.
I don't know. I think it's
No,
good. Yeah.
yeah, because he this way he still leaves the opportunity of depending on what item you get, you can go GA or you can go Trap Claw.
Right. Right. All right. Well, that's a stacked Lucian right now, and even though he doesn't have a 2-star Lucian, that Lucian can still theoretically do some damage. Although without blasters, it's not going to be anywhere near as strong as you would hope.
Unfortunately, Kerm's team is all stuck hitting the buff Poppy that
Yeah.
is taking almost no damage due to all the items, all these armor items and dodge items and slow items.
So Godlike is actually going to go for a big Poppy Sorcerer build. And what really interests me about the way that Godlike builds Poppy is that he does it completely differently from everybody else. He doesn't go for the Bramble Vest. He doesn't go for the Titan's Resolve. He doesn't go for the Dragon's Claw. He loves to put Frozen Heart and Trap Claw on Poppy. And then the Cloak, I think we saw once maybe, but just really focusing on reducing attack speed, stunning the opponents coming in. And so it's kind of a more disruptive Poppy rather than just a straight up tanky Poppy. So I don't know
Yeah,
if it's better, but it's interesting he's found this like different line, you know?
I do think he also just kind of throws whatever items he has on the Poppy rather than just waiting for the most optimal items. He builds the most defensive items he can possibly build with the items that he has.
It's just interesting that Frozen Heart has been there like 3 times already, if you include this game.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the only defensive item you can build with a tier though. So the rest are just kind of not
Mm.
defensive items. They're more utility based.
If you're going sorcerers though, why not save the tier for a sorcerer? That kind of surprises me a little bit. You know, if you have the chance to get like a Seraph on Vel'Koz later, you know?
Yeah, it's just the Chinese strat. Don't greed. Just throw whatever you have on there. Don't save items. Saving items is bad.
I guess so. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm on board with that, but he's got his style, and we'll see. We'll see what it gets him at the end of the tournament.
Doing him pretty well so far, so we'll see how that pays out for him.
Let's go and check out what Hung Lian's up to right now. So he actually found the early Wukong. So he's got the nice sort of combination of Chrono, Vanguard, and a bunch of other stuff. So he's got a very strong build early. You can see that he's on. Let's see. Oh, he's not on the win streak. He was, but he's dropped down now. So he's trying to survive, basically. Does have red buff Lucian. Looks like he wants to go blasters here.
Definitely seems like blasters. Ash throws out an arrow. Hopefully it stalls long enough.
Yeah, Rebel Poppy is interesting. Looks like the
Rebel
1-star
Poppy
assists are
just
not
seems
strong enough.
ridiculously strong, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, the extra damage boost, the extra shield to start off with.
It's like having a Titan's Resolve from the get-go, essentially. Just with the
Right.
extra damage.
Yeah, mostly in just like the little damage buff there. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of 4-stars on this carousel. A lot of spatulas as well. Interesting. So if you're Hung Lian, what are you going for? Runs for the sword.
Clearly
But
needs
my
damage.
question now is, are there any mech infiltrators in the lobby, and do they have their needlessly large rod ready to go?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think the only
Yeah.
possibility is Saihan if he were going to go mech infiltrator, since most of these players are not mech infiltrator players.
Now, Saihan did go mech infiltrator twice last night, so it would not be surprising to see him pivot if he feels like he has the right items.
I did see someone right there with a Kha'Zix and a Kaisa when Hongman was tabbing through, so that was probably. I don't know who that is, but that looks like a mech comp right away. Just if you still have those units at this point of the game.
Yeah, and it's honestly, this is the time when you can still fairly comfortably pivot to something like that because you're going to be running into the rumbles. It's easy to find Annies, and it's even not that hard to find some of the 1-stars. Kaisa is really kind of the big question, right? How many of those can you hit? How fast?
Yeah, you saw Godlike just pick up a 2-star Shaco, so it could be him pivoting into it.
Yep, could certainly be that. Hong Lian did find the early Jinx as well. So he's got 4 blasters online really fast, and he's starting to wreck people. So yeah, selling the Leona, definitely don't need that anymore. Hits 20 gold, and he's in really good shape.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, it does seem like I think that was Godlike that is going to go towards Mech Infiltrator.
Yep, certainly could.
I think
So
that's a
debating.
very good choice actually, considering nobody is going it, and he is very healthy and in the position to pivot like that.
Yeah.
All those items on the Poppy, very easily transitionable over to the Mech.
Yeah, very true. So what do you think about this decision to go for 4 brawlers over 4 blasters?
4 brawlers over 4 blasters. Well, I think it's better due to the fact that 4 blasters it hits 5 extra units, right? There aren't that many units on the board for most people at that point, so it's better to just have brawlers. The more units there are, the more effective blasters tend to be.
I suppose you are giving your Jinx more time to come online as well, even if she is hitting less people. Looks like it's working out. But that's an interesting choice. That's one I always wrestle with. Like, depending on the board state, do I need 4 blasters or do I need 4 brawlers at level 7?
Yeah, definitely. I think just it 4 brawlers generally I think is better most of the time, since you can if you only have 2 blasters, you can just throw in a rebel, and then you have there you go 7 units.
Right. Yeah, the Rebel ends up working as a nice transition at level 7. We talked about that a little bit earlier. He's not opting to go for the Rebel Edition right now, opting to just keep simply 3 blasters in. But let's see what
Yeah,
everybody gets from the infiltrators right now.
there's a spatula. Maybe
Yeah,
another
maybe.
spatula? Nope,
Oh,
just a
it's a
Nico
Nico's.
and some gold.
Man, if that would have been just like a free force of nature, that would have been pretty sick for a Honglian.
Either way, like one spatula and Nico's help, still good. You know, those are just extras from what you would regularly get.
Yeah, there's another Lucian. But he's finding a lot of fizzes. There we go. Blitzcrank 2 and Lucian, dude. That was a nice roll. And Cho'Gath too. Wow, okay. Big power spike for Honglian now. But you got to save up for 8. I think that's good. I think you stop there and you save for 8. I think a lot of people in NA would say maybe he rolled down a little bit too far there.
I think that's fine. 20 gold is still fine. If you go down to 10, it's also a little bit worrying. But most of the time, NA likes to stop at 30 gold.
Yeah. Yeah, the Chinese players, like we've seen before, definitely more aggressive with their spending. But Saihan not able to hang with his Candyland comp early. Looks like Becca is actually going for the Mana Printer Sona.
Yeah,
And she's got the Star
you
Guardian
saw
Bagel.
Becca start early with the chalice. She had a chalice off the first carousel,
Right.
so she definitely opted to go that build based off that decision alone.
Yeah. It's generally something that's pretty uncontested in lobbies too. So it's a pretty safe choice. Especially when people see you pick up that chalice and they know you're just gonna have an item advantage over them anyway if you try to contest it. So by grabbing the chalice, it's such a singular item right now in terms of what it's generally good on composition wise that people will usually leave you alone unless they're totally griefing, you know?
Yeah, the problem with that is everyone's taking the poppies, and if you can't get the poppy, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, if with this build though, you really only need a Poppy 1. It's the Nico ends up being a lot more vital. So if you can hit a Poppy 2 at some point in the game, you're like, all right, that's nice. Otherwise, Poppy's just there for the synergies in this comp.
Yeah, we've got a poppy here with that is actually just being really tanky with just a Titan's Resolve.
Hey, that Sona healing is definitely doing work. That kept the Poppy and the Zoe up.
For sure.
But yeah, Hong Lian, as we can see, just simply saving for level 8. So probably not going to make a lot of big moves for a while. Looking around at other boards, it is going to be Dark Stars for Karim, as we guessed, and no surprise there, just because the guy's been playing it all week. So yeah, this is starting to look like a very strong brawler blaster board. I think the big thing right now is trying to find that Jinx too.
He needs to. He does
after
need to
saving
get
up.
to 8 first before
Yeah,
fighting that Jinx too.
right.
Otherwise, he does have that Nico's help for getting Jinx to 2, which I personally think is worth using as soon as you find another Jinx at this point in the game. Health is way
Yeah.
too important.
Well, the thing is he is losing rounds still like this. This is going to be his third round loss in a row. So, yeah, you are starting to really feel the pressure. I
Yeah.
agree that, oh, there's a misfortune, but I agree that level 8 would give him the biggest boost out of anything because he could have his full synergies online. So, a mostly defensive carousel here as well. Just
Yeah,
decides to go
Honglian
down.
going straight for the Echo. I think
Right.
it was Honglian was he running a cybernetics comp? I feel like he might be since he tends to mostly he is wait no Honglian is running the
He's
Brawler Black.
running Brawler Blaster. And
Yeah,
so he could be looking to finish a QSS, possibly. And
possibly.
also
Yeah,
just Echo is 5 gold. So it's kind of like 5 gold plus the QSS, maybe, if you're lucky. Let's go over and check out what Becca's up to, though. She's got pretty much the full build on Sona. Seraph's Chalice, Star Guardian Bangle. I mean, I would say a lot of people would prefer double Chalice right now, but I think with the Star Guardian item, you can go Seraph's because you're going to be, spreading that mana out even more effectively than you would with the Chalice.
yeah. She already has basically I'd say perfect items for the Sona in this situation. She already spreads so much mana. She just needs to hit those upgrades on her units on the bench.
Right, right. So let's see this in action now. She also did put a lot of items on the TF. Luxalt was really disruptive there, but Wukong is such a good tank in terms of stopping the enemy team from coming in and slaughtering everybody. It's really giving the Sona a lot of time, but that Jin is doing a little bit too much damage. And
Yeah,
this is where that comp can kind of fall apart because you just don't have the one-shot power that you did with the old Star Guardians build,
yeah, I mean, she does have only 4 Star Guardians right now, and just not them. I think only like 2 Sorks, so it doesn't actually do that much damage at the current moment. She just has to start throwing some more Sorks in, get that Ari, get that, you know, get those upgrades first. I think that's what she's aiming for before actually going into more of a, Sork build, Star Guardian build.
Right. Well, the tricky part is that you just can't rely on Syndra anymore. And then when it comes to Ari, she's throwing out the orb. That's something that's, avoidable by the enemy units. They can sometimes sidestep it kind of on their own. So without the killing power of Syndra, any sort of Star Guardian based build is just going to be a lot weaker. So I think it's still pretty brave to go for something like this, even if you do find that early chalice. But if she ends up kind of bombing out, she's definitely going to feel baited.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely 2 people going Vanguard Sorcerers right now, so that is what's causing problems. The other person that has managed to hit the TF 3-star, and that's what's making Becca just struggle with that right now.
So the nice thing for her is that she finds Sona 3. That's a nice advantage. But the nice thing with this is that TF3 would be nice, but it's not totally necessary because it seems like there should be a higher priority on getting up to the 4 sorcerer 6 star guardian level, right? So if you're hanging back and rolling for a TF3, I feel like you're kind of hurting this build because he's not going to do a whole lot for you other than give you like a slightly more stable mid game. Whereas putting your full build together as fast as possible is going to probably help you win streak a little bit more.
It's hard.
But
It's very hard to say. I mean, she's basically relying on TF and potentially getting crits off the TF cards.
right, which
She
which
has
is
found the rest of her Star
it's rolling the
Guardians.
dice, right? So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Still not finding that TF3.
This is a gamble for TF or level.
I think you got to add the Soraka in, or go for the Soraka too. You're not going to be able to fit Vel'Koz in for quite a while, especially if you're focusing on getting a TF3. So I like that, but not finding it. Still 1 TF down, and here comes Shanmin Yu, and he's got that powered up Aurelia, right? That's what I'm seeing. Yeah. So he's got the basically Chrono Blade Master build going there, not with the Kale. but with the Mana Reaver and the Blade Master and the Blaster as well. So a
Yeah,
little bit
Becca's
of
gonna have to roll hard now for either hit the TF or just level up and put another unit.
right.
If she doesn't hit this, it's going to be very, very bad for. Oh,
There he
she hit
is.
him.
We'll see how much of a benefit she really gets from TF. I mean, he's got a lot of items, but we are already at 5-2. And so that's the stage where a lot of stronger, like 2-star 4-cost units come in and negate the benefit that that Twisted Fate gives you a lot of times.
Throwing in 2 Sorakas for more healing. Gotta
Yeah.
keep your tanks up.
I mean, that's brave, right? But you know, where's the damage come from in this comp? Is it just all TF? Because like you mentioned, sometimes the cards
Well, I
miss.
mean, that TF just did a lot of damage with those cards.
Yeah, you're trying to grind through it. But is it going to be
But he's
enough?
getting
And
CC'd, so unfortunately not gonna be enough.
well, this is kind of what I'm talking about, where you get one TF out basically with this, and Becca, unfortunately, out in 7th place. It doesn't get an 8th, so she managed to avoid that. But it's games like this where I'm like really not convinced that this comp is it may not even be A tier, because I think a
Yeah,
lot of things need to come together for it to end up working out, and especially hanging back for TF3, I think kind of holds the entire comp back, because you really need to get to 6 Star Guardians ASAP to start like rolling that mana, right? So
yeah, I think
it's interesting.
Becca maybe committed too much to the TF because TF is kind of inconsistent sometimes. And if
Sure.
you committed too hard to the TF, sometimes he just misses cards and then you're just kind of done for. Similar
Yeah.
to how like Vel'Koz could just shoot the wrong way and then it doesn't work.
Now, I think in like the Candyland comp where you're trying to 3-star those 4 1-cost units, then 3-star TFT can be very valuable, because he's basically all your damage at that point. You're not going to put a lot of items on him because you're trying to itemize Poppy. So that's a situation where I think the TFT or the TF3 is a good sort of bridge from the early game to the late mid game. And then by the time Twisted Fate falls off, you've got your 6 sorcerers online. So you've just got a lot more damage in general going, right? It was an interesting carousel. 2 Bramble Vests.
I'm
Wow.
surprised. I guess Kerm. I was thinking Kerm would just go for the. Okay, yeah, he went for the Zareth. I was like really considering why he didn't go straight for the Zareth because it seemed like a really good pick for him. I think Ine might want the Rebels. If he get the Rebel item, he could potentially go 9 Rebels.
Yeah, I suppose it is possible. That'd be
9
kinda
Rebels
crazy.
is very scary when position. Oh yeah, he went for it.
Interesting. I wonder if he's actually going to get away with it.
9 Rebels is very scary when you actually get it.
Yeah. I want to look at his stream to see what exactly he's building right now. Let's see.
Because he was already doing Rebels and he had 1 Rebel spat.
Right, he's got 7 Rebels right now. So he could conceivably go for 6 Rebels. He's actually getting fairly close to a Jinx 3 as well. He's only 2 Jinxes away.
Yeah, so if Ine is able to hit everything he wants and get like the Jinx 3 with the 9 Rebels, I think he's just got this game in the bag.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back with Zhanwen Yu, Carmex fighting him with the Dark Stars, and we'll see how long this Jin lasts. Looks like he's getting pretty quickly overwhelmed here. 6 Cybernetics online. He found the Echo, and so Zhanwen Yu is looking like he's got a real good chance to place pretty high in this lobby here. Still 40 HP, very helpful. It's a tight lobby overall, especially in the top 3, but getting 6 Cybers online, I feel like, is a guaranteed top 4 unless your items are like absolutely awful.
For sure. Soju hitting his Aurelia too, I think.
Yeah.
We've got 6 Cybernetics, level 9. This is almost as strong as you can get this comp from outside of a few upgrades.
Yeah. Being able to put Celestial in is so good. Getting Mana Reaver as well. That's a nice
Yeah,
little
the
benefit.
Celestial is going to help him a lot with just keeping that Aurelia alive.
Yeah. Wow. Echo cancels the MF ult. Hong Lian definitely in a lot of trouble here, trying to survive, but it's only never mind. He actually I was gonna say it paused for a second. I was like, oh no, did I call that wrong? But no, I needed to have faith in the Aurelia. I did, but I lost faith for just a moment there.
Well,
I'm
that's
sorry.
a really nice item for DoA Yuuj. He can actually put that onto the Echo, and then the whole team gets Morello's right then.
Right. Yeah, Morello's or a red buff on Echo helps him apply that apply the sort of grievous wounds effect to everybody, which is really nice. Thank you, Kane. All right, so I've got Ine's stream open on my other monitor too because I want to see if he does find the 9 rebels. That'd be pretty crazy. There we go. All right, we're gonna look at Ine's stream on the main stream as well. So still 7 rebels for now. He's missing a Ziggs and he's missing a Sona. It looks like.
Yeah, he definitely didn't plan on it initially. So he's,
Who
you know,
does?
if he picks it up, sure. I think he's waiting for the opportunity, but he's not committing to it all that much yet.
I mean, if you find it, you have to go for it, right? Like, there's no choice. Like, if you have a chance to go 9 rebels, you go 9 rebels.
I do think it's strong, a lot stronger here. Like, you're gonna have that Kale that can tear through things like no other.
Yeah, I think with the board he has, if he goes 9 rebels, he just wins the lobby.
Yeah.
Able to knock someone out right there. Top 3 now. Soju out in 4th. And the top 3 are going to take a while to resolve. Everybody's looking pretty healthy for this stage in the game yet. You know, Rebel GP is pretty strong too.
Finds another MF.
Yeah.
There's another Jinx.
Another Jinx.
Another
There's
MF.
one more Jinx.
Sells Blitzcrank for the ability to use the Valkyrie. I mean the Zephyr play.
Yep. On the verge of getting that Misfortune 2 as well.
Yeah, it's gonna help every round that you can just, like, you know, drop a Zephyr.
Yeah.
For a play like that, it'll help. That one round can make a huge difference down the line.
You know, the funny thing is, like, the way that Rebels groups up as well is really scary when you're running into Mech Infiltrator. But with the mech kind of being nerfed, and basically you need a golden mech. But just like we saw on the Giant Slayer series finals, if you get that golden mech, you'll just one-shot entire Rebel teams. Frodan and I saw that happen the other day, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, the thing with the Mech Infiltrator though is it's the Infiltrator part it's very bad for them to get into your backline since you know, yes, you can stun a lot of people with Kaisa, but the problem with that is you can't really hit the people in the corner.
Well, everybody's got such a
So
big
they
hit
stay alive much longer, and cornering against Mech Infiltrator is sometimes just better.
Yeah. All right, going up against a Ghost right now, it looks like.
Yeah, and then you have the problem right there where Kassadin uses his spell and disables your entire team.
Yep, sometimes being grouped up is rough. But guess what? Double Jinx all the way. No, it didn't work out. Oh, the Aurelia, a little bit too strong there.
Yeah, it was the Kassadin disabling the entire team did huge things there for
oh, MF with QSS.
for
Yeah,
W.
let him at it. Oh man, I would take that in a heartbeat. That's an MF2 with a built-in QSS.
He already has an MF2, so he's just gonna sell the MF anyways.
Did he let that roll over?
He locked it actually.
Oh, okay.
He
I didn't
locked
see
it.
him lock it. I was waiting for him to see that, but yeah. All right, there you go. So yeah, don't even need it. You can just put that on anybody. Oh, Jinx 3,
he
there
hit
it
the
is.
Jinx 3.
Sell the Lulu. Sell the Lulu.
He wants to put the Lulu in
Sell the
because
Blitz in the Yasuo, actually.
He might sell the Blitz.
Sell the Lulu. Yeah.
Oh, he finds the Sona. Now just missing one more.
The Death Blade popped off and he kept the Zeeks. Oh, that's probably not what he wanted there.
It's definitely not what he wanted, but you know.
Well, this is interesting. So he makes 2 little like rebel bubbles, basically.
Yeah, so that was a little mistake that he made right there. What you could have done is you take the items you want to keep on the board usually, and then you take off the other one, and then you because since it prioritizes on the board, you make sure you have only the items you want to keep on the board.
Right. Yeah. So the items that are on the board have the higher priority to stay. So you can kind of rearrange your units before you combine them to kind
Got the Ziggs, 9 Rebel.
Dude, he did it. 9 rebels activated.
And
Wow.
9 rebel with a 3-star Jinx.
It's happening. It's happening. 9 rebels and 3-star. Like, this is the strongest Jinx you can possibly make. I've never seen this before. That's
I mean,
amazing.
you can optimize items a little bit better, but good enough considering situation.
Sure. It's the strongest rebel Jinx you can make anyway, as far as the rebel buff goes.
It's gonna be
Rebel
ridiculous.
MF as well, very, very strong. Will everyone get deleted by the mech? I don't think it's even going to go through the shield. No,
It gets to the
barely
shield,
dense.
as soon as the thing is that MF needs the Jinx needs the resets, but did get the resets really quickly. And
Yeah. Funny thing,
uh,
MF did not even ult that fight.
yeah, MF definitely didn't even ult.
Yep. Oh, the Irelia goes down. So it looks like the Ghost mech might beat Yuuj. Unless Yuuj
Yeah,
is the mech. Never mind.
no, Annie, I don't think Annie can do enough damage. Maybe.
Oh,
Oh,
she can.
does
She's an Annie
actually.
3, man. Annie 3
Yeah,
is
if you can get her
low-key
spell
scary.
off right there.
Yeah. All right, what's the item? It's a Titan's Resolve. Oh boy. Slam that on the Aurelian Soul instantly. Or the Master Yi, actually. That's fine too.
Either or. It doesn't really make too much of a difference for him.
Yeah, at this point. Put it on the Ziggs, you know. Maybe the Ziggs is the only one you wouldn't want to put it on.
Put it on Ziggs for maximum BM.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, I don't need this item. Leave it on the bench even.
Yep. Should be fairly easy. Either way, great item for him. And we'll see what his opponent's picked up. I didn't see him scouting it. Dude, if he gets like a Xerath 2 somehow.
I got Ziggs too.
6-2 at 7-1 with that 10% chance. That's pretty amazing, actually. If he gets like a Xerath 2, and you know, you could conceivably swap out the MF and put a Xerath Rebel in there. And I think that would be pretty strong too.
I think it'd be strong, but you would lose Blaster and Valkyrie.
He'd lose Valkyrie, yeah, and Blaster, I suppose. That is true, but I just want to see a Rebel Xerath. Come on, man.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah. We're not about like optimal.
If he found another Rebel spat, I could conceive him taking off the Sona and just throwing it.
Yeah. You got to become a for fun streamer at that point. Is that a golden mech I just saw?
Maybe. It seemed really strong.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was also a mistake Ine might have made. Is at this point rolling down, he can't hit anything. He might as well just hold all of Godlike's units.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's check it out though. That is not a golden mech. No, it doesn't have the golden fizz yet.
But you very rarely see level 8 on, even on like mech infiltrator player.
Right. And yeah, Godlike, a player that's been really struggling, finding some success with mech infiltrator. Doesn't even have the demo spat actually.
Yeah, he transitioned to it pretty late.
Yep.
He went a different. He basically stacked his Poppy with all the tank items and then shifted over to the mech after.
Mech did a good amount of damage, but is it enough?
He might win this.
I think it's enough. Oh, Ine.
Godlike is gonna win this.
Rebels.
And he takes down Ine. 9 rebels.
The dream is dead.
Mech
9 rebels not doing it for Ine. It's gonna be Godlike taking game number 1. Wow. So I'm looking right now because because that's actually Godlike's second first place in a row now. Yeah,
he used his mech with basically items that initially were on Poppy that he just threw on Frozen Heart, threw on the cloak, as well as a Trap Claw.
Yep.
Not the most optimal items for the mech, however, very strong tank items overall, and was able to just transition really, really easily over to mech once he realized nobody was going mech.
Right. That meant he could find the Shaco 3. He could find the Kai'Sa 3 fairly easily. So good results for Godlike to start off the day. He is going to be our points leader after one game. Ine, Jeonmin-yu, and Soju round out the top 4. And Soju, a player that, again, like really needs to have an amazing day today. But I think he's probably going to need like more than 4th place. He's probably going to need to like get top 2 for the rest of the day, right? Because he's down at the very, very bottom with Chi2 at 34 points. So Soju top 4, but he'll need a lot more than that to break into the top 8.
Yeah, luckily for Godlike though, like after that one game, as long as he can consistently place top 4, I think he has a very good chance of climbing back into the top 8. As long as if he's able to keep these performances up after that Mech Infiltrator game.
It is possible. I wonder, is he at 35 or 45 right now?
Now he's at 45. This is updated after after that last game.
Oh, I see.
Although
There's the ordering.
okay,
Okay,
now
got
it's
it.
sorted. Yeah, now
Yeah.
it's sorted.
So after that, Godlike actually, in the last 2 games, Godlike has jumped 20 points in the standings. So yeah, that actually puts him up in the top 8.
Yeah, he is now in the top 8. Granted, there's still a whole other lobby that needs to be played, but it has pushed him up into the likelihood of actually making it into the top 8 for the finals.
Right. And if you also look at the breakdown between China and NA, it is straight up 50-50 right now in the rankings. So we'll see. It'd be cool to see 4 and 4 make it to the final day. And the results have been like pretty much dead even between the regions so far in the tournament.
Yeah, I believe someone counted the points yesterday. I think it was about even between NA and China if you added all their players together. I think they were all within the total score was within like 2 or 3 points.
Right.
And so it's very, very close. China performing much better on day 1, day 2, NA stepping it up, playing very well, and getting back up and catching straight back up with the Chinese players. And now we're back towards a very, very even start moving into day 3.
Well, and that is really cool to me because it was like we were talking about yesterday, where there's definitely stylistic preferences between the regions, especially when it comes to economy in a lot of cases with a lot of players. So it's neat that you can have those regional style differences, regional philosophical differences, rather, about TFT, and it still ends up with even scores. Very cool. And speaking of cool things, we are going to a special galaxy. We're going to the Star Cluster Galaxy for the 3rd time in the tournament so far.
Yeah, Godlike goes for the Graves, unable to probably get the first thing that he wanted, so he ends up taking a Graves. But Graves always a good pickup, no matter what, and so
Graves too. You're never going to be disappointed with that.
He is one of the strongest level 1 units. I'm not sure if there's a Poppy in the carousel. I didn't check, but if there was, oh yeah, there was.
It was even a Poppy with a sword.
Managed to get that.
Yeah. So, finds a Dragon's Fang, and I bet his chat is being like, "All right, it's Candyland time." 2 gold for the Ari as well. There's another Poppy.
Straight up picks up the Poppy.
Yep.
He's like, I see a Poppy. I need that Poppy.
And you don't really need the other 1 cost off of there, so he can save that Ari for a little bit later.
Yeah, the Ari is just, it's a good Star Guardian. It's a good Sork. You can just hold her for now. You don't really need her gold. It's not like you got a 3 cost. The 3 cost generally gets sold right away unless it's the comp that you've generally have an idea going down towards. But even then, it's better to just sell for the eco.
Right. Yeah, there's a few exceptions like a Jace you would hold on to or something like that. But a Karma, yeah, just sell that right away. Picks up the other 1 cost because why not? You never know what's going to show up in that next carousel, the next cell, and you need to put the strongest board out you can. Finds another Poppy.
Well, Poppy, no matter what, always strongest board.
Yep. So the nice thing is that now with the Ari, when he gets to level 4, he can run 2 Sork, 3 Star Guardian right away.
Yeah, notice that some people have actually sold their units that they got.
Yeah, well, it is 3 gold.
Yeah.
This Graves is going to get sold at some point too, so.
Yeah, definitely. It's just some you would try to hold it as long as possible then due to the damage boost you get.
Yeah.
Managing to get a 2-star Poppy.
It's going to be a pretty strong start. There is Illusion in there, but he doesn't have a red buff parts or anything. He's going to pick it up just for the synergies, because you can kind of make the choice then at level 4 if you want to go Star Guardian Vanguard, or if you want to Star Guardian Vanguard Sorcerer, or if you want to go like Vanguard Blaster or something like that. There's a couple different ways to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of approaches you can take here. I think one of the approaches I would take would be I would sell the Graves and then build Dragon Claw on the Poppy, go level 4, and put in Cybernetics.
Okay. I wonder if we're going to see him possibly just econ here. Like build around the Poppy with the Star Guardians and stuff, and then just build up money for a roll down.
Yeah, it's very likely. Godlike does have his unique way of playing. So I never really know what I'm expecting from Godlike when I watch him play, since he does shift very easily into the different playstyle. Finds a Darius.
Immediately puts in that Darius. I
Gotta
mean,
make the gold.
yeah, I guess the Graves 2 is kind of the carry here because Darius 1 without any items is not gonna live for very long generally. So we'll see what he decides to go with. Picks up the Jin Zhao as well.
Maybe looking for a Space Jam comp if he's like he's theorizing behind it, because
Right.
it's a possibility with his items. It's a very likely a possibility.
He has not played Space Jam yet in the tournament, but he does really like the reroll comps. So it would fit right in with his playstyle. Oh, wow. Finds a reset. Just enough HP.
Yeah, it's able to get one extra goal. Oh,
Oh,
TF.
TF. Yeah,
TF
if you
says,
put that TF in the
no,
corner.
I'm going to kill all 3 of you with one wave of cards.
Yeah, you don't want to surround the TF like that. There's another Poppy. So this will be really telling. Yeah, you pick up the Poppy, but does he pick up the second Lucian? Or the Leona? Does he sell the Kazakhs or something like that? And the Jin Zhao? Because you could also go up to 10 gold here, which if you look at the left side of his bench, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Do that and then put yourself in a position where you can sell one of those if you lose the next round. I think Econ does need to start being more of a priority for him, and he knows that too.
He's checking for poppies. You can tell.
Everybody's checking for poppies right now, man. Everybody's going for that 3-star poppy.
Yeah, there's 2 other poppy players.
Of course there are. So the question is right now, if everybody's rolling for poppy, what's uncontested? And a lot of times the item or the answer is going to be Dark Stars. It is generally untouched in a lot of lobbies right now. Dark Stars, sometimes Brawler Blaster can support 2 players, Mech Infiltrator. So now's actually a pretty good time if you're wondering about how to climb on the ladder. Everybody's trying this like poppy reroll stuff right now. So just like play Dark Stars or something. Play it well and like top 4 and move up, you know?
Yeah, if you play Dark Stars, you just gotta be careful of to win the game, you need those Zareths. If you don't hit those Zareths with like decent items, you eventually will lose. And you
Yeah, it
will
kind of
top
depends.
4, but if you want to win, you need Zareth.
Yeah, you can get away with Zareth is definitely the best right now for Dark Stars. You can also put in 2 Jins if you get more than 3 Jin items, and sometimes that's enough to carry. Zareth is kind of like the Echo, right? Where there's a lot of games where it's like, well, I'm just not going to see this guy this game, you know?
Yeah, other games you're like Milk was you get 2 Zareths, 2 Zareth 2s and still lose.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you lose like way too much HP first, and then all you need is like one unfortunate loss, and that's it. So Becca is trying out the same build. She's actually going for the Mana Printer Sona again. Doesn't have a tier, doesn't have any chalices, but she's trying to make this work.
I think it's possible if it's not contested due to the fact that nobody really wants tiers anymore.
Yeah, but you're going to have multiple sorcerer players probably because of the poppies. So she'll be contested in some of that, which may or may not matter, but it's a point of possible concern. Crushes that run, though.
But she does have a good amount of Sonas already, so it's possible.
Yeah.
She's keeping a pretty good win streak as well. If she can win streak the next round as well, it will be great for her moving into the Terra Bursters.
You know what I want to play a lot of tomorrow is I'm going to go for maybe like the Xayah Pikachu comp, Jarvan Xayah. And then from that, you can either go Blade Masters or you can transition into Dark Stars, depending on the items.
I played a couple games yesterday. Doesn't seem like a likely chance to even have that opportunity. Everyone's just re-rolling, and then you just get griefed.
Yep.
It's like, okay, one person hit it, the other 4 just die.
So I'm telling you, play brawlers. Just play brawlers every game. Brawler something. I think Brawler Void actually could be really good in the meta right now. It wrecks sorcerers. It definitely annihilates the Poppy because it's true damage. And you're going to be fighting with the blaster players for brawlers, but it might be good.
Yeah, Ine actually taking this round very handedly from Becca with Blitz hooking out the TF, which was all the damage in this comp. And so without TF, can't even do anything.
Yeah, I'm I guess a little bit surprised that she's got TF in the corner like that, because that does make him vulnerable to the Blitzcrank grab. Generally, you'll put the Zoe there. Actually, no. How did TF get grabbed? He wasn't in the corner.
Yeah, if you put the Blitzcrank at the very bottom, like by the board, by the edge of the board, at the right side, you can hook
front?
that's
Yeah.
the corner that it'll go for.
Interesting.
It's a nice little manipulation you can do.
Right. All right. So, going to be the Terror Bursters then. And we'll see what she gets out of it. All right. Another Jace. All right. Well, I guess it's a Vanguard, right? So it's a Jace too.
Yeah. She's just saying, hey, we don't need Poppy. We're going to go Vanguard Sorks, and we're just going to use other Vanguards. We don't need Poppy.
Yeah. I mean, you don't end up going 6-star Guardians very often with this anyway. Oh no, wait, you do, don't you? Yeah, you generally try.
And if you're lucky, and actually able to get those Star Guardians that you need. But it's more focused on the Sona mana printing, so you don't necessarily need Star Guardians to generate mana. It's more of Sona generating mana with the chalices.
Well, Becca hit the TF3. We'll have to watch the side to find out. She was almost out of gold. She found another Sona 2, but no TF3. That's rough. So on board with Saihan now.
If you've noticed, Ine is very focused on not. Ine has never contested these guys with the reroll comps. He's always gone for the high scaling late game comp. Always looking at Chrono, looking at Rebel, looking at Cybernetics.
Yeah, that's paid off for him too. He is second in total points right now overall. So I think it's like I was saying, if everybody else is going for the rerolls, then you have a chance to go for just the stronger stuff late. So he's been playing Cyber Rebels. He played one game of Vanguard Snipers and was in the top 4 3 out of 4 games last night.
Yeah, very flexible player is able to switch whatever he's doing almost immediately. Saihan actually looking to maybe go mech again in this game.
All right. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest mech items, so you'd be kind of forcing it here. He's got like parts of mech items, right? He's got like part of the QSS, and he's got part of the Titan's Resolve, part of the Bramble Vest. Well, no parts of the Bramble Vest.
I don't know. Godlike seems like he's in a very, very good position with this Poppy.
I mean, yeah, he's got the items. He found the TF3 as well. So for some reason, Godlike has been really good at hitting the Poppy 3 specifically, even when other people are struggling. Godlike just seems to always get it.
Yeah, maybe it's just because he's had such bad luck in the recent ones. It's like time for me to get lucky.
Maybe. I'd love to go back and somehow find his stream VOD and watch like when he chooses to reroll. Because whatever he's doing is definitely working. He's consistently landed this Poppy 3 a lot more than other people have.
Yeah, I've noticed that Godlike actually he did move into this Poppy after he constantly found Poppies throughout his rolls. And so I think that's why he committed to it and then decided, hey, I'm just going to roll for this Poppy at this point.
Right. Also found that Dragon's
only
Claw.
2 other people are rolling, and then you roll a little bit earlier. You're going to 1 round earlier than what is perceived as a normal time to roll. You're much more likely to hit that unit.
That's why I'm starting to wonder if you should roll right before carousel or before the first before Krugs, you know? It
Yeah, that's
sounds
always been a
crazy.
mind game thing because it's,
Yeah.
hey, you get a little bit less gold, but maybe you can hit it.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but it might be a good idea. I don't know. I have to test it more. All the things
Yeah.
we're talking about this weekend, there is like a really tiny sample size for, which is one of the fun things about the patch is that there's still a lot of like theory crafting being done. We're starting to see some strong stuff emerge, but for the most part, it's still a situation where not a lot of people have a great handle on this meta yet.
Yeah,
Wow,
Saihan
Becca,
going straight for he's just looking and making sure he wants this 2-star rumble for his
yeah,
mech comp. He's just like hovering around it.
thank you. Do. Becca grabbed a Jace too, so now she's put herself really close to Jace 3 actually, which is huge.
Yeah, I
Jace
mean,
3,
depending on what she already has, it could be insane.
yep. Well, she was
I was
thinking.
also wondering if she was. I guess it's not due to the fact that there was a sword on the Sona. If she just picked up the Sona, she'd have a Sona 3.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, let's see. Godlike adapting just wants to add more sorcerers on at this point, probably. Yeah,
We
Becca's still
saw.
going for the mana printer build, but it looks like she might end up going the 4 Vanguard style. We'll see. We'll see.
We
For
saw
now,
a Gunblade Poppy yesterday. I'm thinking if Godlike will look to make the Gunblade on the Poppy.
you think so?
It's possible, but I think he may be. It's possible, or he could just be, saving it for later AP items on another unit.
Sure. Yeah, the other option would be Guardian Angel, but I don't think that's that great on Poppy. Poppy would just probably die if Poppy died anyway. I think you just hold those items and wait to see what the infiltrators give you.
Yeah, it's definitely better to just hold that item on Poppy rather than give GA. Titan's Resolve is just a far better item on Poppy than a GA will be.
Yeah, for sure. Or Bramble Vest, I would say.
Yeah, Bramble Vest.
Poppy. Oh, we got the shield just in time. Uh-oh. That Rage Blade, though. Boom.
Oh, smacks her with the hammer.
Poppy brings the hammer down. Poppy is like the scariest champion in TFT.
He considered that for a second.
Yeah. Well, let's see what Becca's up to right now. So she again is fairly close to the Jace 3 if she kept those items. Looks like she did
She
not. She
actually
used
ended
the
up
tier for a
selling.
chalice on Sona, which is better for the build, but it is too bad. I suppose you don't technically need a Jace 3 for this. You want to have the Wukong instead.
Yeah, she just took the Jace 3 because it's more gold, right? So
Sure, Jace 2. Yeah, he's 5 gold, I suppose, too. Wow. Crushing that one.
yeah, Saihan is really in trouble here with the mech. He needs to figure out what he's gonna do there.
Yeah.
I always wonder if you see a mech player dying very, very quickly, why don't you just hold his mechs until he dies? Because a lot of the time they rely on their last burst of gold to like roll down.
Yeah.
And
If you can afford to holding on to mech parts, I think it's good to hold on to anything that you think is going to hurt another player in the lobby as long as you're not sacrificing your own economy to do it.
yeah, definitely for sure. But even though sacrificing your economy a little, it's like, okay, hey, now I'm guaranteed to not have to worry about mech players in later on.
Yeah. Ooh, one more Sona. Got to fight the urge to roll down here. You don't need to.
He levels
Yeah,
up.
better to level.
Throws in the Poppy one. Let's go.
Gets
Poppy one.
Vanguard, gets Star Guardian. In pretty good shape.
Just whole point of the Star Guardian. She's not even planning on putting any items on it just because Poppy is probably never going to hit 3 stars in this game.
No, I doubt that. But you don't really need a 3-star Poppy for this particular build. You just need
Yeah,
Poppy to be Poppy, you know?
just need her as a Star Guardian.
Yep. With that single tier on Sona, if there is a spatula in the next carousel, she could still turn that Sona into a Star Guardian again this game. Otherwise, another Chalice would be useful to just send more mana to your team.
Yeah, what's wrong with the Chalice? More Chalices.
Yeah.
Her comp is definitely starting to come online.
Right.
Oh,
There's the
found the
Sona
Sona.
3. Nice.
And the Poppy.
Yeah. So
And
basically, if you're unfamiliar, if you're unfamiliar with this build, Sona kind of makes up for the nerfs that Star Guardians have taken lately. In that, with the Chalice on Sona and how fast she casts, she's rapidly spreading mana to the other Star Guardians and sorcerers around her. So you can kind of get that damage burst potential that you had in like old Star Guardian comps sometimes. It's much more item dependent than it was before, and it's still fairly weak in the mid game. But so far, so good. This Zaya is scary though.
Yeah, definitely. The Zaya has a Death Blade.
Yeah, and a
Will
Fiora 3
scale
too.
with damage very quickly.
Yeah, that Fiora 3 also getting a lot of really long stuns is going to be enough, because if you can't cast, you're going to miss out on all your damage, and if you're walking up and stunning you every time is not going to help.
Yeah, been calling the Zaya build, it's called Shredder. And
I don't mind
basically,
that.
yeah, it's pretty good. I think Holian's taking a book out of the NA players, because that's more or less an NA build that
Yeah.
they've come up with.
All right, so Sona's all over the place right now, but it's Mech Infiltrator, obviously, for Saihan this time. That's a Poppy 3 with Bramble Vest and Dragon's Claw, by the way, for Godlike.
Yeah, that Poppy is going to be very, very, very scary.
Yeah. Interesting items on the Kaisa. I like the adaptation of the Dragon's Claw. That's going to help against comps exactly what Godlike has, where you go back there and the Kaisa is going to be able to chew through the sorcerers pretty effectively.
Yeah, and it also is going to help with stuff like the Bramble Vest.
Right. Yep, just the fact that there's the Morellos there too. Those are just really good Kaisa items.
Yeah, but I still think this Poppy is going to 1v3.
Yeah, I mean, the shield is just so big.
It just cancels out the Morellos. It straight up cancels the Morellos, and then it's like no damage from everything else.
What can you do against Captain America Poppy just slamming people with the shield? All right, another chance for another item. And Saihan looking at the cloak, possibly? No, looking at the... Ooh, does he want the gloves? Okay, gloves. Does he already have a cloak? I can't remember. Might want to build a QSS. Otherwise, we'll see what he decides to go with.
Don't think he has a cloak. He could, but I don't think he does.
For Celestial over there. Godlike's comp. There's the 6 Dark Stars that we know and love. You know, the unfortunate thing is that 6 Dark Star is not really that much stronger than 3 Dark Star now in terms of stats. But with 6 Dark Star, if you can protect your carries, then just having simply more Dark Stars die just gives you that much more of a buff. So that's still
realizing here that Saihan has not found a Fizz, and that's probably why he's losing.
Yep, still doesn't have the mech. That's actually crazy. Wow, 4-5 and no mech. I mean, to be fair, it is a 10% chance, but in all the rolling down, you usually find at least one, and one is all you need to see. So bad luck for us.
No one else is fighting for it either.
Yeah, totally uncontested, but sometimes you play mech and you hold your own hand down to 8th place.
Yeah.
Sometimes you win too. Does get the victory over Soju that round.
He's just largely relying right now on his Kaisa to do all the carrying.
Yeah. Lock the board to find that Kale 2. You really just need to, make your board as strong as possible, so it's hard to pass up the opportunity for a Kale 2.
10% chance.
Right.
Not hitting it. Hit the Kale 2 before he even found a Fizz.
I was going to say, yeah, that's the real tragedy here, is that he hit 3 10% Kales but couldn't hit a single Fizz. But, I mean, that's just Mech Infiltrator, man. That's just a lot of builds. Like, I keep bringing it up. I'll never forget the game where I had a Fizz 3 before I found a Rumble 2 in a totally uncontested mech game.
Yeah, RNG sometimes not on your side.
Yep, sometimes you just don't see it.
So printing some more mana.
Oh, not enough by at all.
Hand down to 1 life.
3 HP. Yep, might as well be 1. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he's got that death cap Poppy. Poppy is in there throwing her shields, not dying.
So early on, it seemed like people were trying to put the Bramble Vest on Poppy as the third item, but now the adaptation has been over the last 24 hours, it's started to become a lot more death cap since it gives her a bigger shield and she does more damage with her throw. So this might actually be the Exodia Poppy items is a death cap Bramble Vest Dragon's Claw.
Yeah, it just really depends on like what items you get, I think. If you get certain items, you can go since it's a lot easier to get one damage item and two defensive items than three defensive items.
Right.
So it's very item dependent.
And it seems like there are like multiple ways to build this Poppy as well.
Yeah, I think the core is just making sure you have the Dragon's Claw and either Bramble Vest or Titan's Resolve. You just have to have one of them.
Some sort of armor and some way to boost Poppy's damage a little bit. Still no fizz. He's going to hit an Annie 3 before he hits the fizz. This is a nightmare for Sehan.
For Saihan, it's like, wow,
guy.
what kind of luck is this?
I feel so bad for him.
He
And I never thought I'd say that about a mech player.
He saw a player who doesn't normally play Mech Infiltrator do very, very well with it. He's like, I can do this too. So, nope, won't give you your mech.
Oh, slammed by the demolitionist Aurelian Soul. That's the end of the game. Shaman sends him to the underworld, and that is a really unfortunate 8th place. Let's check out what Soju is up to now. Going for the Chrono Blade Master build, Chrono Kale, as we call it a lot of times.
Wow, Xerath.
Wow, level 9 in a hurry.
Yeah, he's been definitely trying to push his advantage as much as he can. Was able to have a win streak early, but now kind of just falling off a bit.
It's getting very this looks like a strong build though, you know? What he has right now. Interesting Kassadin itemization. Does get the static shiv on MF. Oh no, but that MF2 on the other side absolutely decimates his team.
Yeah, definitely MF2 very, very strong. Soju even tried to do the mana boost trick for this round and did not help him at all.
Yeah. He's dead. Or at least that round anyway. There's a Xerath. That's a nice unit, but it's not great right now. Has the opportunity to pick up another Kale too.
He decides against the Kale.
He wants the MF2. That's what he really wants.
Got some Mana Reaver.
Yeah.
That's what he's looking for.
Okay. Interesting. So swapping things up a little bit here. So 3 Blade Master, 4 Chrono now.
That's a very unlikely most of the time to hit like 3 Aurelias like that.
Yeah, no kidding.
How contested it is, but I really don't think there are any cybernetic players in this lobby.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. This is a really smooth transition though. Because he's still got the 4 Chrono. That's the most important thing. This Xayah,
though, the Xayah Shredder. Yeah. Actually just shredding through everything.
I like the name Shredder.
Not like going down.
All right, here we go. Another round. What item do you go for here?
Soju looking maybe at the red buff.
Yeah, red buff is definitely good. The other thing I was kind of wondering about is Infiltrator spat for Aurelia.
Yeah, but he doesn't have an Infiltrator. Because if you take that Infiltrator, you kind of need a Valkyrie. You need to get a Kaisa thrown in there.
Right, so the Infiltrator spat isn't really for the synergy. It's more just to guarantee that Aurelia gets to the back line and starts attacking their carries right away. And then you avoid the whole situation with Aurelia where she gets stuck on a tank. So a lot of times, even a single Infiltrator spat, just to make her jump to the back, can really be useful in these comps.
True.
But red buff it is. He does have the blasters and he does have MF, probably a bigger buff overall. So it's really kind of a matter of like, who's your carry going to be, right? And he elects to choose MF in this situation.
I just saw Becca's board for a second right there. She has 3 chalices on her Sona. So, I wonder, her board is really, really strong right now.
I wonder if that might be overkill, actually. Does that generate more mana than Sona can actually put out? Like, do you overlap?
She has 45 mana. That gives her 30 mana. So it's fine.
Wow, I can't believe you beat that board. That was so close. Ine with the Zareth, not able to make it happen.
Yeah, someone use that 2 HP.
Yeah. Yep, don't need the jinx. There's the MF2. All right, Soju's feeling a lot better about this now. And he needs, like you said, Soju needs to have a good night because he has had a really rough tournament so far. So he's due for some top fours.
Yeah, if he doesn't top 4 at least every game, he's basically not. He doesn't have a chance at all, and he does actually need to manage to win some of these games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't even know if top fours are really gonna even do it for him. He probably needs like top twos in a lot of these games going forward, all three. I think he's got a shot with this one. Oh, that Vel'Koz though. That's a lot
You
of
don't
damage.
run into Becca, so maybe not.
Look at all the mana this Sona is giving out. Like, I mean, you think for a second though, like you need 3 Negatron cloaks and 3 tiers. Like, it's not an easy item combination to come up with, but if you can get it, it does seem very good. Becca did win a game in the tournament with this build too. So as much as I'm kind of like trash talking it, like I think it has I think it has a very high ceiling, but I think its average performance is probably a little bit below what I would prefer from a comp. But no doubt that it can pop off if you get the right items.
Yeah, no, because you only have, I think, 4 carousel rounds where you can get the items get items that you can actually choose, and then you need to get a tier and a cloak off of the PvE rounds.
Yeah.
So you need to actually be lucky in PvE as well to get that many.
And I've seen it win with a double chalice. So triple chalice isn't necessary 100% of the time, but even double chalice is still tricky to pick up. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
considering how
haven't
many
played this comp very much myself, so it's hard for me to really say for sure. Obviously, Becca is a much better player than me, and she keeps playing it. So if she sees something in it, then it might be better than what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this, considering how many people have tier items, it's just like
Yeah,
a
tier's
lot
not
of
a very high demand item right now.
have been dropped.
Yeah. MF gets a pretty decent ultimate there. Oh yeah, that MF ult really saved the day. Honglian going to take a loss here. Still very healthy in HP, but Soju climbing up. Sonman Yu out in 6th, by the way. So it's gonna be sad because like both Soju and Ine have very strong comps. Actually, the 3 through 5 right now is really tight, and everyone has a pretty good board. That's a really strong Zareth too.
At least 2 of them are going down in this round for sure. Maybe even 3.
Seems possible. Can
So
get those weird scenarios where
probably just basically has secured a top 3 from this point. Maybe top 2 having hit that 2-star echo.
yeah. It is possible that nobody goes out this round too. Depending on how the matches and the ghosts line up.
Yeah, definitely.
But more likely, we're going to know who our top 4 for this game are after this fight. Carmex taking a damage, getting taken out, and yeah, it drops from 3rd to 5th. Honglian.
CC'd.
Yeah, it's a big Lulu ult.
Again.
Oh, Lulu ult. Vel'Koz gets another shot. Lulu's still living though, man.
Able to just stay alive through the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's not tanking Lux spells over and over again.
Yep.
Oh man, getting a. See, the problem here is selling the Lulu for the Thresh. I don't know if that was worth it. Mainly because you have nothing on your bench to pull anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I guess you pull in a Lux, but that's a little bit of CC. But yeah, I think the Lulu would be better in the late game than the Thresh too. If he survives this round and can find a couple good things to pull in, then you've got that going at least.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Unfortunately, he runs into Becca.
Might be a little bit tricky.
Probably the worst matchup for him.
Well, the MF ult. Oh, the MF ult got stopped. She hit Trap Claw on the other side, actually. And that is the end of the line for Soju. Goes out in 4th. So 2 4th place finishes for him here. Honglian gets a win as well, takes out Ine. So it is Becca versus Honglian for our 1v1 at the end of this one. And Honglian playing the Chrono Kale build. this time around.
Yeah, Honglian actually was able to take the last round for Becca, so unless Becca makes some changes, it could be very, very, very close.
Certainly could.
Yeah, he's definitely he was waiting for Becca to go around and get an item so he can get what she wants.
Yeah. All right, so Zeke's, and who do you put that on in this? Where would you put it? Okay, gonna put it on Lulu, it looks like.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
I'm not
Lulu
opposed to that.
attack speed buff as well as Zaya, very helpful for him.
Yeah, you can see Ine in chat saying like, dude, you're not playing for Chrono? Like, are you crazy? And I kind of think he might be. Not playing for Chrono here is pretty insane. He does have 6 Sorcerer, huh? Or is that Becca? No, Becca has 6 Sorcerer,
Becca
obviously. Yeah, all right. Heal comes through from Soraka. Big Lulu ultimate. And these Lulu ults need to be big, but no, the damage is just too much.
Yeah, Holian going down because you do see the trap claw on Xerath as well. Xerath is able to just go off with people clumped like that.
Yeah.
And so it's also very hard. Becca, knowing that she's against Holian now, can just position for him, and it's very, very easy.
I really feel like you need 4 Chrono here. If you're Honglian, like he wants the Lulu to be able to do work. But Force Celestial is not going to help you against all this burst damage, you know? Here we go.
No.
Could be the last round right now.
Yeah, it does stop the Wukong ult, but look at the damage.
Yeah, the damage from the
So much
Vel'Koz is
AoE.
significant.
Yeah, and down goes
Becca
not
did
enough
it.
damage to get through that like giant clump.
And that is a win for Becca in game number 2 tonight. Heart pounding, it looks like. But she gets it. And that's actually, I believe, the second win she's managed to claim. No, not with that build. She has played it before. Or has she? For some reason, I remember her playing that. She might have played that at Giant Slayer series instead. But yeah.
She had played she'd played Star Guardian Source and Giant Slayer series before. The last game she did play this team comp. I know the day before, day 1 and day 2 was mostly like Brawler Blasters.
Yeah. She didn't play it before then, but that is her second place of the tournament, so significant. Let's take a look at the placements so far. Ine on top, Godlike and Soju at 12, Honglian as well, and Becca, 4 players tied at 12 points right now. And so it is an extremely tight race as we are halfway done with our first set of the night.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've seen Saihan down at the bottom, 2 points, going out last in both times. He's going very high risk comps, and it's just not been paying out for him. I know it's really unfortunate for him that he did not hit a single fizz in his round 2 game.
Yeah.
So that's just, it happens. You can't really.
That's
It's really bad RNG for him to end up in that situation, and so it was very unfortunate for him.
So let's check this out. So Ine has taken the #1 spot in the overall rankings, but it took him 2 more games than Shendu has played to overtake him. So Shendu's still in a good position to come back and retake it when he gets to his set. We'll see how Ine performs with the rest of this. Becca, though, jumping all the way up to 4th place. And with that first, with those extra 10 points, putting her in a pretty good position to maybe stay in this top 8. Godlike in there for now, but we've just got a whole lot of players that are going to have a chance to come back and reclaim some of those spots. It's going to be really interesting in the second set to see who survives and who gets knocked out from set 1.
Yeah, definitely. I know Godlike still has a very, very likely chance. Honglian almost, as long as he keeps the performance up, he has secured a spot. Ine definitely has secured a spot in top 8 no matter what moving forward.
Yep, going to be hard to knock him out. Well, we are going to take a quick break, guys. When we come back, the second half of set number 1, 2 more games of Teamfight Tactics, and then another whole 4-game set after that. So a lot of TFT yet to look forward to here at Starside Invitational. We'll see you in just a few. And we are back at the Starside Invitational. DoA and Yuuj here. Did I point the right direction? I did.
Yes,
Oh, I'm getting good at
got
this.
the right one this time.
That's right. I did it. Well, Becca did it as well. She managed to get first place. More of an accomplishment than me pointing at the right side of the screen, admittedly. But doing it in style with the mana printer Sona build, that does bring her up to 12 points, which puts her in a four-way tie for second right now with godlike Sojun, Honglian, Ine, the sole proprietor of the #1 position at the moment after a strong second place and third place finish. So no first, but very good, consistent first two games for him. And again, like tonight's intense because Yuuj, like 8 people are going to be eliminated at the end of the night.
Yeah, it's very, very close too as well. You don't know who's going to be eliminated. It largely depends on their performance today. It's just the whole middle of the pack is way too close. And you have seen a lot of people who are at the bottom of the pack are actually winning games, doing very, very well here in day 3. So it's really, really hard to say what will happen.
Yeah, I mean, the big question I think now is godlike. Can he keep this up and make just like a crazy run at possibly getting into the top 8? It would seem so unlikely based on the positions so far, but he's moving up. He's making a go at it.
Yeah, he got that first place game, and just being able to get those occasional first places is a huge boost over just the consistency of top 4 even.
He took 7th last game, but if he gets 2 more good games, who knows? Anything's possible. And anything's possible on a full item carousel. Becca was actually going for the Frozen Heart, interestingly enough. Ends up with the Redemption, though. So I wonder what everybody is planning on building, because Becca, notably, did not grab a Chalice. So if this build that she's been doing for the first 2 games is something that she wanted to play consistently, you'd think she'd go for the Chalice right away. But no, ending up with the Redemption instead.
You'd think, I don't know, a lot of the time is if you win with a comp, people start paying more attention to what you are doing. And so you become, in a sense, marked, and no longer will you be able to pull that off. And so she's probably trying to shift to a much more consistent comp.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. I wonder.
Someone didn't connect for Carousel 1. We are wondering if it's going to be a remake or we might continue with this game.
Well, we'll leave that decision to greater minds than ours and keep calling the action for the moment anyway. See what happens. For now, Becca with the Redemption start, which is a tier item, but not something you would put on the Sona. But yeah, I think normally you would be wondering a little bit about things being contested, but where just like no one else really wants to play that, I don't know if that affects this comp too much. We'll see. There's a Sona. The game wants her to play it. She's going to sell it, though. You want the gold more right now anyway.
Definitely, for sure. Gold is important moving into this.
Yep, Malphite 2. Strong front line if she desires it.
Otherwise, possibly looking at the Vanguard.
Yeah, I think Malphite 2 is just a good front line to just work with, right? Yeah, add Chrono in there. If you don't get the Vanguards right away, you don't get the Vanguards. But Malphite 2 is a nice sort of like alternative, right? So the big thing would be hitting a Xayah 2 or hitting a Caitlyn or TF2 in the next store. Next shop. Oh, that's nice. Getting 5. She just got 4 gold out of that, I think. 4 or 5 gold out of that orb. And another 2 from Sona. Could just maybe hold on to that Sona, sell it later. This is Zoe 2. All right. So she's got an opportunity to put that in and go for 2 2-stars with the Sorcerer buff if she keeps the TF. Sometimes the game just gives you a sign, Sometimes the game is just like, we want you to play Sorcerers again. I don't know. Puts the belt on TF. What do you think about that?
On TF, that just sounds like either you're building Morellos or you're selling. Looks more like I'm building Morellos.
Yeah, there's not a lot of other Rod users in this composition. So Morellos on TF is something you do see a little bit more frequently. I think you might be right. Luden's Echo start for Hong Lian. Looks like that's what he got off of the full item carousel. Looks like everybody was able to, feel like they got the items they wanted. So for now, it looks like the game's continuing anyway.
Yep.
But 2 Sork start, yeah, we got the official word that it seems like things are okay, and we're just continuing on the game. Well, there's a Kha'Zix 2. Doesn't really fit in with what she's working on, but it does give you a stronger board at this point in the game, and you can sell it back for full value. So, do you pick this up? I wonder, because she could still even stay above 10 too.
But Sorcerer's not really that impactful with what she has right now, so it could be. But
so here's the question, right? So I think if you're Becca, you wait, and then if you win, you sell the bench and hit 20. But we'll see what she does. I think economy is like an NA player would say. I think the economy is the key here. But yeah, it looks like she's going to lose, so she picks up the Kha'Zix too. I think if she would have won this one, there would definitely be a reason to sell the bench. But at least you get a consolation prize of a 2-star unit that's going to be useful later. Hey, Star Guardians everywhere.
Yeah, that's really good for Becca. Puts in the Kha'Zix.
That said, though, again, like you always ask yourself the question in the early rounds, do you need that stuff right now? Or do you need economy? And the correct answer 9 times out of 10 is you need the economy, because she's still got 94 health. She's only lost once. She's got a pretty strong board the way it is. So even if you buy those Star Guardians, you're not going to be putting them in right away, most likely. So better to just say, you know what? It's a couple 1 costs and a 2 costs. I'm going to see these later. Don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, what I'm wondering is why she doesn't sell the Zayas and just pick up the Star Guardians that she needs.
Yeah, that's a possibility
Maybe
as well.
waiting, people like to do these things at the last minute all the time. So
right. I think the argument to be made to keep the Zaya too, because it's such a strong carry in the early game, is also, possibly part of it. Whereas Ari and another Zoe, you're not going to be hitting a 2-star with any of that. And Ari 1-star is not going to do any carry things for you early on. This is Syndra. What's she going to go with? Probably I would imagine you'd want the tier, right? No, she goes with the gloves. Okay. So maybe not going for the sorcerer build this time.
She wants the trap claw. She's going to.
The saga continues.
Yeah, so it seems Zhang Yuuj has a problem with staying connected. He does have a laptop. I think he plays on a laptop, and so it's a lot more difficult for him to keep the quality and the connection. So he has to kind of reconnect.
Right. Yeah, sometimes you do run into that situation where like connectivity is just an issue, We be esports at the end of the day.
Yeah, internet problems are rampant. It definitely looks like a mana printer build. Well, he might be forced to go a mana printer build with those items because he was not here for round 1, so he got forced to take in the chalice actually.
All right. So the chalice may not be that bad if he knows how to play out of it. There's a lot of builds that can use it. Even something like Brawler Blaster, you don't mind having the chalice on something like a Misfortune late just because, you get that mana a little bit faster.
Yeah, the chalice can also work very well with rebels.
Yeah. So there's that. You all right? Chalice, you can end up putting that on the Aurelian Soul at some point. Jumping you, though, taking a little bit of damage early on, despite the fairly strong board to begin with. Picks up the Poppy as well. Hard to decipher it right now. But yeah, just doing a little bit of scouting. There we go. All right, so he's got the Ziggs too as well. I wonder, he really wants a Space Pirate because he wants the extra gold, but man, those items would be way better on the Ziggs, the Chalice at least, Although he does give mana to the Ziggs right away, but still.
Yeah, I definitely agree it would be better on it, but you have your Graves in their front line, so I guess always being able to spam more smoke screens definitely useful in some sense.
That's true. He does have
He's
the Graves on the bench too,
like
so
on that
it's not
Poppy.
like he couldn't swap those items over. I wonder if he's actually thinking Rebels, and that's why he wants to keep those items on a champion he can sell instead of putting it on the Ziggs.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it.
Yeah,
Ziggs would be useful for the early game, but I mean, you can still sell the Ziggs. A lot of
right.
people do like putting items on Ziggs, especially which is how they played Rebels. Is you put all your Aurelion Soul items on your Ziggs, and then you just sell the Ziggs later on in the game. Since Ziggs
Right.
doesn't really scale that well, obviously that's changed now because Ziggs 3 actually does massive damage.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, so let's see what he gets off of the Terror Boosters here. Finds gloves. Not going to be able to hand to Justice, probably. Could be a QSS later on. There is a sword, so Shojin's an option. And finally, some gold. Okay. A little bit of economy is never a bad thing. Picks up a Vi. So Brawler Blasters looks like it might end up being the final direction that Shanwenju wants to go.
He's just holding on to a lot of cybernetics right now.
Yeah. Let's
I
see what
think
Kurim's up to right now. There we
his
go. Yeah.
looking to do some kind of sniper chrono build, maybe.
I mean, snipers is something that you can run early on if you hit it to transition into Brawler Blasters, which I would imagine is still probably his plan. The other option is he could go Dark Stars. He has that spatula, and so picking up a glove at some point could enable him to do that. Make Ash
Yeah,
into a Dark Star.
have he's still holding on to his Jarvan. He's found a really early 2-star Ash though, so
Right. So that
that's
kind of
some
makes you even more lean towards Dark Stars because Dark Star Ash can be really strong. She just deletes entire groups of people if she gets powered up.
yeah. He's choosing not to even try for more Ashes though right now. Obviously, it would destroy his economy, so there's no point.
Right. There's an Aurelia. All right. So what will he go? Again, like it seems like he wants to go Brawler Blaster right now, just with what's on the board at the moment. Chain Vest. Oh, does he go Rebels though?
Yeah, if he builds Rebels, then he can go Brawler Blast. Like he has the items to go Brawler Blaster, right?
Yeah, definitely better Brawler Blaster items at the moment, but he's kind of caught between a couple different things, right?
Yeah.
Opting for the Guardian Angel, maybe. Okay, yeah, Guardian Angel on Graves. So that does make me think that he's thinking Dark Stars then, because you'll want like a GA for your Jin or your Xerath possibly a little bit later.
Yeah. Oh, that Caitlyn gets her ult off right away.
Yeah,
Pretty good start for Kurum actually. He's got good eco. He can move very easily into the Dark Star comp.
yeah, not bad. Yeah, I think Dark Stars is probably a pretty good direction for him to go. You know, one thing I've never seen is a Dark Star Aurelia. I wonder what that would be. You don't really have any Blade Masters to pair with it. That's the problem. But just in isolation, she might do pretty well. But I've not seen that experimented with. I might have to
Yeah.
try that.
Looking at Saihan, he seems to be doing the same thing that Godlike did in Game One, where they're slamming items on Poppy and then transitioning them back with all the tank items on Poppy.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely think that's a good plan if you can't hit the 5-star. The 3-star Poppy.
5-star Poppy. Geez. 3 stars enough, man.
I don't know, man. 5-star Poppy. Wow, that would
It's
sold
turning
it
into
sold.
like a mobile gotcha game at that point.
Yeah, 5-star Poppy.
Yeah. Dark Star 5-star Poppy. Wow. Get one for logging in 500 days in a row.
That is sick typing. Just
Yeah.
wait till Riot comes out with a gotcha game. It'll happen.
You never know. They've got a lot of champions. You could definitely do it.
Yeah, just imagine rolling a 3-star Garen and be like, damn it.
Yeah. It's a mech Garen too. All right, carousel time. What's it gonna be for Karam? There's a Jin with a cloak. If he finds a bow later, that is perfect. But will it survive? Soju wants a sword. All right. Karam definitely looking like he wants that Jin. Yeah, I was gonna say that seems pretty good because that's a Jin with an onboard item that you want to use already on Jin because you want that Runin's Hurricane. So I think that solidifies it right there. Karam is at least a sniper Vanguard player, but with the Brawler Star, probably more just going for straight up Dark Stars after a while.
He is your Dark Star connoisseur right here. Every game, Dark Star.
He does find a Lucian. But there's no red buff. Nah, give it up. Give up your Blaster Dreams and just play snipers. Come on, you know it.
Yeah, he eventually he'll sell that Caitlyn, but for now, we need that Chrono, so they're gonna keep it in.
Right.
You have
Chrono
three.
super helpful. Oh, but the thing is that Caitlyn has a bow. So that's his Runins. I didn't see that earlier. I forgot that Caitlyn has a bow.
Yeah, so he's holding on to it right now. He's going eventually he's going to sell that Caitlyn and just move it. But for
Right.
now,
Without having a lot of Dark Stars, in fact, he would have no Dark Star synergy at all by putting in the Jin. So there's really no point to put in the Jin yet.
exactly.
Yeah. But now we can start looking for those Dark Stars.
Wow.
Oh, Graves totally misses.
Smoke screen.
Yep. Somebody blinded Graves instead, apparently. All right. Darius might get one more ult off here. Oh, the heal comes through. And yep. All right. Well, at least you're not losing by that much. 78 HP at 3-6 is still a good place to be. There's a Karma. So now he can go Dark Stars if he wants to.
He's thinking about throwing 3 Dark Stars in very soon. I think he wants to make sure that they are at least some of more than just the Jarvan are 2-starred.
Yeah, if he did it right now, he'd probably swap the Graves out for the Jarvan and then put the Karma in for the Blitzcrank and then swap the Caitlyn out. So you'd end up with a Jin with a GA and Runeman's Hurricane, which would be pretty decent. Gonna opt for the Celestial, actually. Interesting. Okay. I suppose when you've got all 3 snipers in there now, might as well. The GA goes on Caitlyn for the moment because she's going to get sold anyway, and she's the stronger sniper right now, so might as well put that GA on her. Asher was pretty good.
Poppy, very tanky. All you need is a Dragon's Claw.
Yep, that's right. But that Dragon's Claw is against magic damage, and we're talking about AD coming in from this Jin. This last shot is actually not doing as much damage to the Poppy as I thought it would. Oh no, here comes Poppy.
Better.
Wow, that Poppy is so tanky. Even with just a Dragon's Claw. I mean, I know it was a Jin 1, but it's a Jin. Come on.
Vanguard says no.
I guess so. All right, Hong Lian is the player we're going to check in with next, doing a bit of scouting as well. But what is he himself running? That's the question.
He's got that big Poppy.
Yeah. Look at that Chrono Blade Master build that he's checking out right there with the Xayah. That is bold, but it looks like it's going to be sorcerers actually. Vanguard Sorcerer for Hong Lian.
Is that a Nico or Spatula? Oh, it's Nico.
Well, I don't know if you really want to use the Nico or not. Yeah, you would never use the Nico on a one.
Naturally, he didn't need to even roll.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, please don't create a situation where I have to watch somebody Nico at 1 cost. Please no.
Sometimes it's worth it when you get too high level and you just, I just might as well,
I don't think there's anything high level about using a Nico on a one.
He did it.
Yeah, those are pretty ideal TF3 items. I felt like yesterday we started to see people move away from itemizing the Twisted Fate 3 because the later the game goes, the less strong he is. So that I would imagine is going to be turned into a QSS or a Ionic Spark at some point. But for now, Poppy, very resistant to magic damage.
I think it's probably more likely to become an Ionic Spark just due to the way it is. You don't need more magic resistance than you already have.
Yeah, I'd prefer the Ionic Spark for sure.
QSS just doesn't do anything on Poppy.
I mean, it makes her able to walk around freely, I guess.
Yeah, but the point is you want to get hit anyways, and you can take that damage. It doesn't matter.
Sure. So He is running the 2 vanguards right now just to protect the other side from Blitzcrank cooks and perhaps some infiltrators. Really, really healthy economy right now, and yeah, why not go for 3 vanguards just to buff up that front line a little bit more? The only thing he might want is a chrono, but he has not hit a chrono minion to use for that just yet. You know, I think you'd definitely choose like a Shen over the Mordekaiser right now until the Wukong came along. But Mordekaiser at least is another person to be Blitzcrank bait.
Yeah, he's just there. He says, "Hi, I'm a little bit tanky, but I don't really do anything."
Morello's Wukong says hi too. It's a lot of damage. Oh, Darius. Oh no, TF missed with his cards.
It's
Looks like it
okay.
may not matter. Okay, he's safe, but that was a dangerous moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Shaman Yu nearly finding it. There it is.
Finds
That
the
Wukong goes in instantly for the Leona.
He's wondering, do I want to temporarily use 4 Vanguard?
I would be surprised if you would take out 4 Sorcerer for that because you lose a lot of strength. I guess
Yeah.
he's opting for the 2-star Vanguard instead. The only reason to keep the Mordekaiser in is because Mordekaiser's aura does a lot more damage because of the Sorcerer buff. But with only a
Yeah.
1-star Mordekaiser, the Leon is probably just better.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah,
Wukong gets pulled
that's
right
okay.
into where he wants to be too.
That's right. You've only fallen into Wukong's trap if he lives long enough, and he doesn't really live long enough, but at least that was a lot of damage going to Wukong. It's all about the Vanguard soaking the damage until your Sorks can get in and do exactly this. Godlike, gonna contest Karam with the Darkstar build this game too.
Yeah, Godlike has hit the 2-star Jin already. The question is, can he get the right items on it?
Right.
Because Kurum is well on his way with items. Just I don't know if he's actually gotten close to the 2-star Jin yet.
We will see. Now the question is, all right, there's the Jinx for Saihan. Jinx with a belt. So that might end up being a red buff Jinx. I can't remember if he's playing Brawler Blaster or not. Maybe Honglian will show us.
Kurum actually has Zareth.
Wow, okay. That's a good early pickup. Cho, Jinx, Mord. Mord 2 would be okay. I kind of feel like you have the Chrono already, so you're really just looking for like a Mord and Wukong 2.
Yeah, he's just getting ready to transition right now, just kind of using brawlers temporarily.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're not looking at we've switched over to Godlike. I see. Okay. Didn't realize that right away.
Yeah.
But he has got a lot of everything, basically. The 3 Dark Star, but 3 powerful Dark Stars as well, powering up that Jin. Has a Celestial buff, which is important. GA on the Malphite, that'll get moved over to a different champion at some point in the future.
Oh, Kurum has a 2-star Zareth.
Wow, how did he get a 2-star Zareth so early? That is ultra fortunate. High
Yup.
rolling for Kurum.
That's
Basically, the look on Godlike's face right now says, "Uh-oh, this other Darkstar guy has like my comp, but way better."
he's like, oh no.
Yeah, that's rough. I think you go to 6 Darkstars here.
Does he have enough?
I believe he does because he's got the Shaco, Karma, and Lux on his bench, so he does have all 6 Dark Stars. And I don't think that Malphite and the Blitz are doing a whole lot for you right now, honestly. So I'm a little bit surprised he's not swapping into 6 Dark Stars right now.
Well, 6 Dark Stars doesn't give you that much of an advantage. He doesn't have the ideal Jinx items either. I mean, not Jinx, Jin items either. So it's kind of hard.
Yeah, the GA is something, and Jin doesn't really need that many items to do a lot of damage. So I wonder if he's over prioritizing the synergies here. We'll have to. I mean, we'll see. I guess the results will speak for themselves. But that would be the only thing I'd be thinking about if I was in Godlike's position. Because imagine if that was a powered up Jin right now instead of a Caitlyn too.
I think Caitlyn might actually win this.
Oh, Zizrat minion. So close. He won it, but that was close.
Oh, there's a random Acel.
Yeah. Don't need it at all for his build, but
Hey,
Cool
it's there.
it's cool whenever Aurelian Soul blesses your bench, says hi. He's a carrier from StarCraft, so you get that nice cross game sort of interaction there. But I think the big problem for Godlike right now is that he's 8, but he doesn't really have much economy to speak of.
Yeah, he's been trying to transition. Well, by like he basically got to 8 and then rolled down trying to get what he wanted, and then he tried to transition,
Right.
but isn't actually able to transition because the comp that he wanted to transition to was already being used by someone else.
I'm just really looking at this board though, and I'm thinking it could be I just feel like it could be stronger. If the Caitlyn items, if the Shiv and the or at least the Shiv got moved over to Ash, if you
He's
had
he's
the
ready to transition.
GA, there we go. Yeah. I think it's time. I think it's definitely time. I think it's past time a little bit, honestly. The Lulu is great though, because you have Celestial and you have a Lulu, right? So that's pretty sick. Frozen Heart on the Shaco. This is getting to be a pretty popular thing for people to do.
Is he just making tank Shaco here?
Well, you put the so a lot of people have been putting the Frozen Heart on Shaco lately when they have an opportunity because he slows down the carries on the other side. So that's all
Yeah,
you really need. Yeah.
throw a Giants belt on top of the Shaco, so I was wondering if is that what he was trying to do?
Yeah, Godlike really needs to use his items. Yeah, I'd be surprised, I guess, if he put any other items on Shaco, because generally you'll only see people putting the Frozen Heart on Shaco if they choose to use him in that way. I think Mord can certainly receive some stuff. I think you definitely put the Static Shiv on the Lulu to try to get some faster ultimates there. I would maybe go like a Static Shiv and maybe like a Redemption on Lulu. He is going to make a tanky Shaco. Wow, that is so crazy. Godlike does some weird stuff. Double, all right, double a Frozen Heart. I love Godlike never does what you're expecting him to do, and I love watching him play. I just don't know if these are the optimal plays.
I do think what he plans on doing with the Mordekaiser is he does plan on selling it if he ever finds a Zera with the way he just played that, but I don't think he will find one. It's just
It'd be
too
pretty
low,
tough.
considering that Chrome already took 3.
Yeah, he has no gold, so it'd be pretty challenging. And there are only 7 left in the pool then out of that. So yeah, I think if you just look at the items, it's a little bit tricky. And you think about what those items could have been turned into. He focused on putting on the Dark Stars, but Lulu would benefit a lot from those mana items. And given that his board is overall relatively weak, having Lulu guaranteed ult every fight would be pretty vitally important. But I think this is the end of the line for him. I don't think he beats this Xayah Blade Master comp. This is the Blade Reaver comp that we've been seeing off and on.
Definitely don't think it's possible. Yeah, it just gets his comp just gets one shot. Godlike will go down here.
So some questionable decisions in terms of when to go to 6 Dark Stars, and then some questionable item decisions once he was at 6 Dark Stars. Frustrated look on the face of Godlike, and he will go out in 7th. Soju actually out in 8th this game. And I would imagine that these results will mean that neither one of them are going to make the top lobby now, pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, it's with these results it's very likely that both of them will just will not have enough points to even get close.
Yeah.
Though you see Saihan went for the infiltrator spat there. With 1 HP left.
Ine is loading. Ruperino internet. And Ine going with the cybernetics build this time. He has a pretty powered up Aurelia, double Infinity Edge and Death Cap. So yeah, she's going to be doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, Death Cap is a really good alternative if you cannot get an Infinity Edge or another damage item on her.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that it just buffs her dash damage by so much. Since the way it works is she dashes for damage and then autos for a certain amount of damage. That auto is increased by the Death Cap.
So the The only problem with Ine's build right now is that the Irelia is basically like that one Jenga piece that's keeping the entire tower from falling down. And oh no, the Irelia got stuck on Poppy.
Yeah,
And Jenga.
and wasn't able to do anything.
Yeah. Down to 2 HP, and he's in a lot of trouble. So a strong Irelia, but not really anything else for Ine right now. The Echo's actually got pretty good items, but does he live long enough to ult? That's the question.
He's
Yeah,
just a little.
moving the items over again.
The problem is it's just a little weak compared to like what it needs to be.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
kind of need a 2-star Echo at this point in the game to even keep up with everyone else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you need to be pushing level 9 very soon.
Well, we'll swap over to Honglian for now. Ine, the stream was a little bit laggy there, so we want to see what the Pikachu's up to anyway. Becca on the other side has that Zaya build going. So reroll versus reroll here. 6 Sorcerer taking on the Zaya reroll build, and those are great Zaya items, and it is going to just chew through Honglian's comp here. Interesting. I really actually love this Jarvan Zaya build. I want to try this so bad. Top 4 for Honglian now. He's still top of the lobby, and he has a huge HP lead. So at the very least, he's given himself a lot of time. That Infiltrator's Talon is a really interesting item to think about for him. I think what you do is you throw that on the Wukong too, and then try to use him as like an enormous backline disruption, right? Put him right on the carries, and then have him like whirl his way through all their damage. I think you got to do that. I'm going to be so disappointed if Wukong does not become an infiltrator this game.
Infiltrator Wukong just seems really funny.
It's got to be.
It's like,
I mean, it's got to be. It's too good.
Backline and just set him up to spin to win.
Yeah. Rolling down. We'll see what he finds.
Lulu for the attack speed.
Sure, but Lulu in the back line, I'd be worried about her just dying before she gets her ult off. Wukong too is definitely going to ult pretty much every time, unless you jump him onto a trap claw. And if you do, that's your own fault. So put the infiltrator. Oh, there's Lulu too. Now maybe you put it on Lulu.
Yeah, because the point of the point of it is more or less if she's in attack range, she's not going to jump.
Xerath. Okay. So this is the other thing too, where Xerath will pretty much always be in attack range as well. So he won't jump. And so he'll just get the attack speed. So that is an opportunity as well. But I don't think it's not as fun as I would prefer. Time for Poppy to go to work. Poppy's stunned though. Yeah. Lux coming up MVP. Lux and Ashe keeping Poppy from gaining those shields through the autos and getting the ultimate. So Poppy shut down there. Honglian may have reached sort of critical mass for this composition here. It is good, but I think the way that this comp becomes stronger is actually if you find a Vel'Koz too, and you sell the TF and you move the items over to the Vel'Koz, because TF3 is just not doing a lot of good. He's way too random in terms of where he places the damage. So if he can find another sorcerer to replace that TF, I would definitely swap that over. This is one of the few times I would advocate selling a 3-star.
I mean, he does have an Ari, but
it's only an RE1 though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or RE2, I guess.
I do think he just seems very committed to keeping his TF, and I think TF is still really good in terms of spread damage. I think it's hard to say.
The biggest reason to keep him in is that he gives you chrono. So ideally, you'd be looking for another Twisted Fate, because all you really need him for is a chrono buff.
Yeah, but you can't. It's so hard to find a TF at this point in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
The fact that you do not get any Twisted Fates if you've already made a 3-star.
Yeah, I just find Twisted Fate 3 to be too inconsistent when itemized in the late game. I think he can definitely carry you early, but this is the point in the game where if you don't have an itemized Vel'Koz, this comp seems like it falls off pretty hard. Just from what I've seen and people I've talked to and some research I've done.
Yeah, I think if maybe you can get some items on Vel'Koz soon, it'll be pretty strong.
Yep. That said, Vel'Koz not really even getting to ult that round, so that one will go to the Zaya player. Meanwhile, Poppy once again trying his hand against the Dark Stars, but I don't think that's going to work out too well.
Yeah, Poppy's just not dying.
Not yet. Wait for it. There we go. Yeah, Poppy eventually going to go down there. All right.
Sustain.
Full items again. What's it going to be? Trap Claw seems pretty tempting.
Yeah, Becca seems like she wants to Trap Claw. Especially if someone else gets the Trap Claw, she's in a lot of trouble.
Well, Trap Claw, exactly. Yeah, it's just too good, and you can always find a way to make it work on your team, and you just really don't want the other person to have it either. You know?
Yeah, Vel'Koz gets hard countered by Trap Claw, so
Yeah.
if the other team has a stacked Vel'Koz, you Trap Claw a unit, it gets that was likely only going to be hit by Vel'Koz ultimate, and then it just stops it instantly.
Yep. Exactly. It's one of your damage. So one thing she can do is she can sort of selectively place that Trap Claw during the fight as well, if she
Yep.
can track the abilities quick enough. Might just put it on one of her DPS or something like that instead, or on the Xayah there. This again is
I feel like
the
it's better. I feel like she should have put it on her Aurelia due to the fact that Aurelia would be likely in the back line, and it would also give her the stat boost.
Yep, depends. I think Rakan serves the same purpose in that he's generally going to jump back pretty early in the fight as well. Looks like it doesn't matter. She's annihilating this Dark Star board.
Yeah, both do just get into the back line.
Yep.
It's just more of a stat boost thing, but they both do serve their purposes.
Yeah.
The Trap Claw does make Rakan a lot tankier, especially because it keeps him alive longer enough to get the frozen heart effects.
Right. That Xerath too is scary, but it looks like people are finding ways to beat this this Dark Star board.
Yeah, I
Kermax
think
though on a win streak. It was the other
yeah,
Dark Stars that got eliminated.
Ghost. Kurum just needs to make sure that the Xerath isn't exploded, more or less.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. This is a fight that I was really looking forward to seeing. Man, this Xayah does so much damage. It's crazy, but this Xerath is just blowing huge holes in this comp. Luluwalt comes through, but man, the Celestial, 4 Celestial, just so good at keeping everybody up.
Yeah, I think the Trap Claw has done a lot to help Becca because if the Xerath shoots the Trap Claw on the Rakan, he just gets stunned in the game and the fight is over for
Becca on the verge of possibly winning 2 games in a row here. Finds the Shojins.
That looks like a really. I know Shojin doesn't really go that well on Aurelia due to the fact that the mana doesn't do much, but it does get her first dash quickly, and it will give her a stat boost. So I do think it probably is a good choice
Yeah,
there.
she's probably going to be your other carry.
On the
I wouldn't be totally opposed to that. If she had an Ashe too, I would say maybe you put on the Ashe. Otherwise, having Kassadin get his ult a little bit sooner is always a good thing.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different options, and I don't know if any one is really necessarily that big of a difference than the other.
They're all about the same.
Yeah, it depends on a lot of small factors, right? Like positioning, the board, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna put on the Caitlyn. Just wants that big 3,000 damage ultimate coming in a little bit sooner. All right, but here is the question. Look at how slow that Vel'Koz is. Just finally getting an ult now. Immediately gets jumped on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you want to put the items on the Vel'Koz. Because if that Vel'Koz had ulted earlier, that might have been, that fight might have gotten the other way. So Becca finds herself in the 1v1 versus Kurum X. Kurum, the Dark Star player. And Becca's looking in a pretty good position here. She might be able to take this one and win 2 in a row. Either way, great placements for Becca in games 2 and 3.
So you notice why she puts she has the Wukong and the Blitzcrank on her bench due to the fact that when they come in, they have a lot more mana because of Thresh, and so those are just extra CC units that will do a lot of help, especially the Blitzcrank, since he comes in with he just comes in and just pulls the farthest unit.
Right.
And it's a long CC chain, especially it's very likely to hit something like like the Xerath if it's in the corner, and it really, really helps with winning fights.
Luluwalt, he's really counting on the Xerath to do a lot of damage, but Rakan gets in, gets a big 4-man stun, but it's not going to be quite enough.
Kurum gonna come out on top of this.
Yeah, that Lulu too, really the MVP there, and Karam going to win the game. So Becca with a second place. Karam finds himself in first in game 3. It was close, and you see so many of these late game scenarios come down to the Lulu, and I think it made a big difference for Karam there.
Yeah, you see Kurum doing a little bit of a celebration right there as he
Why
won the
wouldn't you?
game.
Yeah, I would be too, man. That was a tight 1v1.
Yeah, it was very, very nice because he was going back and forth between Becca between each single fight, and
Right.
so it really depended on if the Xerath was able to survive, and he was able to position his Xerath in the last fight due to the fact that Honglian was knocked out, and he was able to position his Xerath in a way where it would not get hit and dove.
Mhm. Yeah, so Karam just some good positioning, and a lot of times the boards you see in the late game and like the top 3 and 4 of a lot of lobbies are going to be fairly equivalent in strength in a lot of games, and things really come down to who's able to position a bit better. So after 3 games today, we have Becca with 20 points in the lead there, Ine and Honglian tied at 19. Then you have Karam jumping up to 4th place after getting 10 points. Rough game 1 and 2, but really turns it around in game 3. Shanwen Ju, having middling results, manages to be 16 points, slightly ahead of Godlike Soju and Saihan.
Yeah.
But I got to say, the bottom 4, if you don't get first place in this last game, you're gonna have a bad time as far as getting to tomorrow.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like just looking at these standings right here, Ine, Becca, Honglian, and Kurum, they are looking very, very good at making it to tomorrow with their current positionings. It is a little bit, you know, as long as they perform decently well in this next game, they should make it to tomorrow. So when you're looking in a kind of decent position, Godlike really needs to win this game if he even wants a chance. Unfortunately for Soju, it does look like even if he gets a first place, very likely not going to happen either way. And
Yeah,
so,
same with Seihan, or Saihan rather. It seems really unlikely that he's going to be able to make it out, even with the first place, since there'll
yeah,
be a lot of people passing 56.
Godlike does have a chance still. He does really need a first place in this next round to secure himself a chance in the next series.
Yeah, it's looking like probably around 55 is going to be like the minimum cutoff, I think, for the top 8 after all the
Yeah,
games are said and done.
but depending on performances, as of course. Definitely,
Sure.
if you're above 60, you're almost secured at this point.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm guessing 8th place overall is going to be around 55.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, when all the games are done. I think
yeah,
one of the really impressive things when you look at this list is you see Shendu, 56 points. So still number 6 in the top 8, despite being 3 games down to basically everybody else on that list right now. And I would not be surprised to see him break 80 tonight.
yeah. If he can come up with 80 points, that would be phenomenal. And him with just being able to secure that first place,
Right.
obviously fighting with Becca, Ine, that they've been performing very, very well today and over the past few days as well. It's very surprising because you see Becca with these standings now. She did not perform very well on the first day, but went back, took a step back, had some help getting better at the game. Shout out to Mismatched Socks. I know he did a lot of coaching with her and actually helped her get to the ability, the current level that she is right now, and she is doing phenomenally well.
Right. I think in day number 1, the thing that struck me with Becca's play is that she didn't seem like she really had a grasp on the new meta yet, on the new patch. And to be fair, the patch was only about 24 hours old at that point. But it looks like she wasn't really trying any of the new stuff. The old stuff just wasn't working as well. Came back yesterday, totally different play style, crushed it. Today, doing well too. So we'll see. One more game and a really good chance for Becca to secure a spot in the top 8.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very, very likely with the way things are going.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I like that we're seeing a very different style again here in day 3 from her because day 4 or day 2 rather was just all Brawler Blaster. And now coming in day 3, playing this Xayah, Jarvan, the Blade Master comp quite a bit, finding a lot of success with it. It's cool. She's been able to learn and adapt really fast.
Yeah, you had your Sona Mana Printer build, then you had her run a Shredder build. She's really mixing up the comps now, keeping everyone guessing. I know Ine has been running a lot of different comps as well. I think that being able to be flexible and run a variety of different comps has really been able to secure you these few top spots.
Hmm.
I'm noticing that Dark Stars is not as contested, has been going it constantly, and it's given him fairly good results with his constantly somehow. I don't know how he's able to hit these Zerats so consistently,
He
but
was,
always ending up with multiple level 2 Zerats or like just a level
yeah.
2 Zerat so early in the game.
I think a big part of it is just a very strong economy and really knowing a lot about when to swap in your dark stars, when to make sure you get that celestial in there and all that. I think if you compare that game from Kurum to per se Godlike's last game where he tried to play dark stars as well, I think you see a very different sort of level of knowledge almost it seems in terms of when to make those transitions. Kurum doing that very smoothly with dark stars and other players not really finding that sort of groove. So yeah, and it's always fun playing something that is uncontested as well for the most part.
Yeah, it felt very forced on Godlike's side. He's definitely was like, okay, maybe there aren't that many Dark Stars. Like I kind of see it one Dark Star player. Maybe he hasn't hit everything,
Mhm.
but that I think a large part of Godlike's influence on going Dark Stars was the fact that he had hit a 2-star Jin.
Mhm.
It was, theoretically easier to hit everything else, but at the same time, you also are lacking the proper items to execute that comp correctly.
Well, the funny thing is, he actually had good items. He just didn't put them on the Jhin right away. He kept the Caitlyn in for a little bit too long. He kept the Brawlers in for a little bit too long, and he lost another, we'll say average probably around 20 HP that he could have kept otherwise. So yeah, I think some valuable lessons to be learned there for Godlike. But let's move on to the final game of the set, the final game for these 8 players to try to get some points, get into the top 8, get into the final lobby tomorrow. On board with Kurum, our game winner from game 3. As we go through the early carousel, looks like a normal carousel and a normal galaxy from what I have seen. And yeah, just picks up the Xayah early.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zamu was able to was disconnected again at the start of this game. I think he's at this point is fairly used to it. And he's like, okay, whatever. I give up on the first carousel. We just want to stay connected to the game, and I'll take whatever I get.
Yeah.
He has done substantially well, able to actually be where he is despite having missed out on every single first carousel.
Right. That is a bummer, though. His results have been okay, but yeah, whenever you're talking about an esports thing, there's always that question of technology that might mess you up once in a while.
Yeah, he said we are remaking if someone you can't kill PVE rounds. He is fine though, so I think we're good.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's definitely not fair if you come in and you actually were not able to kill the early PVE rounds, since that is, you're almost guaranteed to supposedly kill these.
Sure. Well, that's different, of course. Yeah. Yep. It's one thing accepting that you just like don't get to choose on carousel, which is lame. But what can you do if it's a perpetual issue that is his internet connection, basically? But yeah, if you can get in there, get the items you need, we'll see.
Now
So
they're
you're getting
fighting.
teased about mech right now. I mean, Carmex has those mech items.
Yeah, he's gotten 2 chain vests.
Yeah.
Just drop them on the poppy. You got your bramble vest going.
Got the Bramble vest. You got the tier for your Kaisal later. He's good to go. We'll see what he decides to play though. Obviously, that can get turned into a lot of different stuff. Wow, a couple of Jarvins early on. It's almost like the game wants him to play Dark Stars. Gonna sell it though. Pick up his strongest board instead. You're gonna see those Jarvins later, and Caitlyn's gonna give you more mileage in the early game unless you're running a Xayah.
Yeah, you've noticed that everyone tries to go for, if you can get Vanguard, you go Vanguard. If you get Chrono, you get Chrono.
Mhm.
They're all really, really strong options. And
Vanguard and Chrono are probably the strongest synergies at level 1. Then you get like some 2 stars involved where like you can maybe see blasters get in there.
now we see blasters. I think it's likely due to the fact that he is planning on selling the Malphite very, very soon.
Oh, for
And
sure, yeah.
said, "Hey, let's throw it in as a tank right now."
Yeah, get some extra HP that Malphite can last a long time, and so being that he has a Fiora 2 with a tier, that's going to be a lot of consistent, sustained damage, right? Because Malphite's going to basically last forever.
Yeah, the AoE from the Bramble Vest is a huge, just a huge benefit for him as well. He
Right.
hits Caitlyn, considering running cybernetics.
I don't think that would be bad. He's got a nice chrono start right now at the
Yeah,
moment.
he's got a Chrono Brawler.
Yep. And again, Malphite 1 generally not worth putting in, but the Bramble Vest changes that and makes him tanky enough, just barely.
Due to the extra health that you get from him, Bramble Vest actually gets a lot more value on Malphite than it would generally on a lot of other units.
Yeah. Just makes that shield last longer, essentially. So you notice he did some scouting. He saw that there was no Blitzcrank threat for his Caitlyn, and then he frontlined the Blitzcrank and moved Caitlyn to the corner. And you ask how Karam seems to be able to find these like really good Dark Star games and just be so strong. It's plays like that, actually. It's preserving every HP you possibly can by little movement decisions early in the game that allow you to have the economy and the hit point sort of uh, cushion to go for those Dark Star comps.
Yeah, it's very gradual. A lot of the things that you will see that set the better players and the worst players apart are
Mhm.
just purely small minor mechanics, like small adjustments that you make to your board, just your how when you stop rolling your economy, and like understanding when you should put your Blitzcrank up like that,
Mhm.
where Crow has it placed, so it pulls from the left side and potentially from not the exact corner, a little bit out of the corner
I mean,
instead.
honestly, like you can probably get to masters with just a good knowledge of the fundamentals in TFT. But getting from masters up to GM and then challenger obviously takes a lot more. It takes a level of skill that you see from Karim there, or a
Takes a
good
lot
mech
of
infiltrator
skill
patch.
and
One of the
a
two.
lot of time. It definitely takes a lot of time just to even
Yes.
get up there. The grind is very, very real.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, so we're gonna swap soon to a different player's perspective. We'll see what Karim grabs off of the carousel though first. Gonna have to wait. He's nearly last pick here, but a couple good options. I like the bow right now. Sword also very useful in Dark Stars, and the Ash can give you sniper for a little while anyway before you move that item over. There is a world too where you just keep it on the Ash and you create a Shojin's, but I think 9 times out of 10, as soon as you find another Ash, you're gonna probably swap that item.
Yeah, I think Ash generally just not these. I've tried Shojin recently with the Chrono, not so great either. Just normally because your Ash will just get CC'd and killed, and then all your damage is gone. And
Sure.
so, whereas when you go run Dark Stars, that's not so much of a problem. God,
Yeah.
like really committing to his Mordekaiser here.
Yeah, I mean, Mord can be a great early carry. Obviously, the damage from the Death Cap going to really boost up his aura a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's got two more Mordekaisers on the bench. Maybe he's going for a 3-star Mordekaiser. It's very scary, especially in a Dark Star comp, as long as you can keep him alive.
Yeah, I think maybe hitting 10 gold is probably a little bit more important here, but we'll see what he decides to go with. Could sell the Poppy to hit it if he wins. I'd feel really bad keeping these 2 Mords and not hitting 10 gold. So yeah, I would sell Poppy. Yeah, I was going to say, yep. I think that's the right decision. I think 10 gold is the most important thing. Sell a Mord if you need to, but definitely sell the Poppy after the win. He's got a strong start. Obviously, double Vanguard, especially with those Vanguards and items, is really good. He had Celestial, gave it up for Chrono, which I believe is the stronger synergy right now for him.
He's
He's
considering. I
debating
definitely
it.
think right now It's
I
hard to
mean,
say. He's committed a lot to his Mord, so the Celestial is very, very important with the commitment to Mordekaiser. It gives him a lot of healing just because he does so much damage.
that's a really good point. I think overall Celestial is less important early on because the damage you're dealing is not going to heal you for very much because the numbers are just simply smaller. But you do raise a good point that Mordekaiser becomes a lot more tanky with early Celestial than a lot of other champions do. Run, Lucian. There's no escape. All right, so Becca taking some pretty serious damage early on. All right. Oh, well, probably don't want that Kha'Zix, but kind of fun to see.
Throw in another Mordekaiser. Why not?
Yep. Just something temporary to handle the terror bursters. So I think the question is what is Godlike going? Is he going to try Dark Stars again? I mean, he is putting a lot into the Mordekaiser. I suppose Vanguard Sniper is an option as well because he's got the Jace. He had to sell the Poppy, but it's not like he can't find another one at some point. Sometimes, though, if you have a really bad game like he did last game, you kind of want to just play the same comp again and be like, okay, I know I can do better, you know? So that's a protector plate if he wants it.
I don't know. He might. It always feels weird because when you get a spatula, you always wonder, do I want to make an item here or do I want to save it?
You definitely don't want to make it yet.
Yeah, potentially. It's usually it's like if I make it now, I'm committed. Whereas, and then I feel really, really bad when we get another spatula later. But
yeah,
more
I mean,
after stage 4, you would definitely commit.
Sure. So if I had that spat and that item, I'd be like, I'm gonna keep my eye out for Space Jam items because Protector Darius is really good, and you've already got 2 good Darius items in Deathcap and Ionic Spark as well. He's not hitting any of it, but stretching to the limits of what you could do with those 2 items. That's the first thing that kind of jumps to mind. He's probably just going to go Dark Stars this game, though.
Yeah, he could use those items very well. The problem is the comp that he is in right now is just completely far off from those units.
Sure. I think the thing is that it's 3-1 right now, so nobody should be really that committed to their comp at this point. And Wukong, all right, cool. So yeah, he's got the 4 Vanguard start. Not bad. That is a great early pickup, actually.
Yeah, definitely. That's gonna take him a long way. Actually, he just wants to get that Xayah in, so levels up.
Wants to get a little bit more damage too. Having Caitlyn be your only damage is not that great. I mean, Mordekaiser certainly doing a lot more than usual with the items, but you're probably gonna need a bit more than that going into some of these rounds.
Yeah, I think maybe he just wants to start his win streak going, since if you have just getting ready for if you can keep a win streak like this going up until the next PvE round, you will maximize your gold gain.
Yeah, this is definitely a comp that can win streak as well.
Yeah, for Vanguard, not easy to deal with in the early game. Jace.
Okay, finds out the Jace. Still trying to build up those 4 Vanguard. I think we're going to check in with Becca. Yep, and see what she's doing. She has a Blaster Vanguard Space Pirate Chrono start. So just, again, a very solid early to early mid-game comp.
Seems like
items on Lucian.
Those look like Kale items to me. So
they definitely do. Yep.
Looking like moving towards a Kale in the future.
Yeah, she's played a good amount of Kale in the past in this tournament and other tournaments. We haven't really seen anyone go Kale tonight yet. Maybe one person was playing a Kale build. It's definitely dropped off a bit in popularity.
It's still really, really strong, though.
I would be shocked if Hong Lian dedicated himself to Slash Bros, because that is a comp. You want to talk about comps falling off hard. Slash Bros is dropped to like no usage over the last couple of days. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but it's definitely not as popular right now as it was.
Yeah, due to the nerf to Master Yi's healing on his when he hits level 3, and with the whole 12% across the board now instead of the increasing
Sure.
heal, it definitely seems a lot weaker. However, it's still very, very strong for a long period of time. It just kind of overall falls off, and I think Honglian is probably going to make a shift out of that.
I think the big difference now is that if you want to run Slash Bros, you really need to think about prioritizing a death cap on Master Yi just to improve his ultimate and kind of make up for that percentage that went away, going from, I believe it was 15 down to 12, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's 15 down to 12. Before, everyone was saying, you can go death cap, it's good, but with the same time, a Rage Blade just does the job just as well.
Yeah,
The
I
more
mean,
I
that
look
used to be
at
the
this,
philosophy because he had a higher percentage per swing. But now, you'd probably still want the Rage Blade.
yeah,
You'd probably go. I mean, I would say like Rage Blade, QSS, and then Death Cap. I think you would swap out the Bramble Vest because or the Titans, because that was always the item slot that was getting swapped a lot in the past as well. People would choose Rapid Fire Cannon instead sometimes. So I think Death Cap is probably it. But I think ultimately you're just not going to see the comp play much at all because some people are going Rebels, a lot of other things are going re-rolled. Becca definitely having a rough start with her build though. It looked
yeah.
like a strong mid-game comp, but I think the funny thing is this meta, this patch has produced a lot of extremely strong early game and early mid-game comps.
Yeah, the problem with Becca's comp right now is they're all 1 stars, so she can't really do much about that. So with the fact that they're 1 stars, it is a strong comp. It just lacks the power from the 2 cost units, the 2 star units.
Yeah, kind of bad luck for Becca here. And this is one of those situations where if you take one more loss, I think you got to roll down. I think if you drop to like 50 HP and it's not even, I guess it's going to be infiltrators soon. But at 4-1, you might want to consider rolling.
Yeah, so this is the strat that a lot of people used to do is um around 4-1 you try to be level 7, and 4-8 was 4-3 you want to try to get to 8 and roll down.
Right.
So might see very soon that people that she tries to roll down or just level up. Make
I
sure she
think
hits.
you brought up a good point earlier where the fact that her board is all 1 costs is going to make it really tough for her to go to 8 quickly because, what's the point of having 8 units in if they're all 1 star and they're just dying really fast, right? So I wonder if
Exactly.
we're going to see her roll down and just try to simply build a stronger board and sustain that hit point level before she really thinks about leveling up. There's a
Yeah,
tier and okay, and a cloak. So there's a QSS at least. Find
so she
solution
leveled
2.
up Evolution.
Yeah.
She levels up to 7 right here.
You're gonna need more than just solution 2 to sustain. So here's the thing. She didn't lose that much HP. She's still at 69, so she could probably take another loss or two. But I don't know. She may have too many rounds of saving to get to a fast 8 to afford her losing the round she's probably going to lose soon because other comps are power spiking right now as well. So we'll see. It's like really iffy whether or not this will work.
Chrome just actually ended up building a Shojin on the Karma.
Yeah. So a lot of Darkstar players have started itemizing Karma lately because the bigger her ult is and the faster she can cast it, the stronger your Jin is. And the funny thing is, with a lot of items going towards Xerath now, people are putting all the AP stuff on Karma because it's a buff to Karma, but it's also indirectly, it's basically like putting a bunch of items on Jin too.
Yeah, definitely a good alternative, especially since you've also saw the variants where you drop the Death Cab on top of the Jarvan, and the Jarvan just
Yeah.
throws out this huge, gigantic shield.
All right, on board with Saren now, who's going for the mech infiltrators. You can see does not have the demo spat though, so You are missing a lot of that mech infiltrator power, but that said, he did get the mech on time, so we'll see what this does.
Yeah, he actually got a fizz this game, so big upgrade from last game. Let's see if that works out for him.
Having a fizz is definitely an upgrade from not having a fizz, and he's going to win the mech infiltrator 1v1. Soju, oh no, Soju. The hits just keep coming. Poor Soju. He's got a lot of HP this game, though, so he's got a chance to recover. We'll see. Master Yi's coming for you. He's chasing you down. All right. So this mech infiltrator build looking okay right now. Still missing some good items on the mech, though.
Good items on Zorelia over there, though.
Yeah. And Ine building towards some stuff. That is Becca as well. 3 blasters. So she kind of looks like she's moving back towards brawler blasters at this point, despite not maybe having the most ideal items. Things like the Rage Blade can still be good on a Jinx. Because when she ults, those rockets start coming out really fast and just doing a huge amount of area of effect damage. So you can kind of force it, right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Can.
The Trap Claw is okay too.
Saihan does actually have really good mech items overall. Just seeing if you can take advantage of this.
Yeah, I mean the Kaisa is definitely doing a lot of the carrying right now.
Yeah, I mean,
it does take some damage.
trader items. I mean, not just the mech.
Right. All right, so what's it gonna be? No infiltrator spat, just straight up, no miracle infiltrator spat here.
He might be looking for that.
Seraph's good though. Yeah.
Takes that tier.
Yeah, you definitely want the Zereth. Yeah. Deny it from whoever is playing Dark Stars, and then also get the Seraphs for Kaisa is pretty good.
Definitely a good choice for him.
Yeah, so Seihan at this point, I suppose you're really just looking for a Kaisa 3. You're really hoping that Arc Raptors drops some chain items for the mech, because your mech is going to start to get really, really weak in a couple rounds. There's a Fizz too. That helps a lot. So he hits a level 6 mech. Wow, triple IE Aurelia. that is bold.
That's just, if you crit, you're dead instantly. You already think I think you have like 50% crit with that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Since the default is something around 20%.
So Soju has better mech items, but he had to roll down a lot to find the pieces to the mech. And so Scion is just stronger because he's got a higher level and he's got Sorcerer in pretty much. Now we get to see how this Dark Star build is going for Godlike. Looks like it's, even if he loses this, it's in a much better state than it was last time.
Definitely. He does have the Jin 2 already.
Yep. So loses around, but at least he's got Dark Stars to a point I think that he can build off of. He's basically past the point where this Mordekaiser is going to do him a lot of good. So if he has another Mord too, it might be worth swapping the items onto something else. But ideally, you're looking for a Xerath at this point.
Well, he is going Slash Bros.
Yeah. Just going for the double Rage Blade instead of adding on any other item right now. So if one Rage Blade doesn't provide enough healing, then 2 Rage Blades will double that essentially. So there you go.
Yeah, just hack and slash away.
Yep. All right, so there's Karam. He's going Dark Stars as he often does. Really good Jin items, actually. Oh, good Lulu ultimate too. That might have made the difference. Kaisa though comes back, gets one more ult. That's big with the GA. Jin though, Jin to win, and he has no chance. And you can see, slightly better stuff and very different results. Godlike's Darkstar comp got wrecked. That Darkstar comp, the Jin spreading the damage around a lot more, and just being able to incorporate a Lulu for Celestial and for the Lulu ult was able to turn the tide against Seihan's mech.
Yeah, definitely. Saihan's mech is at a pretty decent level right now. He's more or less stabilized, and it's going to come largely down to, can K3 Soju stabilize his end as well? or are they both? Or is Soju just going to fall and the Saihan will be the victorious mech player?
I mean, it might be, but I think they both might find themselves on the outside looking in of top 4 because Saihan, first of all, both of them are going to have a hard time finding 3 stars for their mech. He's trying right now. He's rolling down. This is the moment. The other thing is that Seihan Saren just doesn't have great mech items itself. He was really hoping to find them at 4-7, but just could not do it. And so that mech, in terms of durability, is going to drop off really hard. And no 3 stars. He's so close.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't. Like, one thing he should have probably done right there is scout to check how many Soju had in terms of rumbles, at least.
Mm-hmm.
To wonder, I mean, he's rolling down either way, right? But
Right.
it also
I don't think
if you should just keep picking them up or just stop at a certain point.
Well, so the philosophy there is that if the person who's contesting you is at really low health, then you probably hold off on rolling and wait for them to die. But where Soju was just below him in HP and now is just above him in HP, then you just kind of got to go for it, right? Kind of got to roll, even though you know you're rolling against somebody else. It's rough, right? And neither one of these guys are probably going to find a Rumble 3.
I'm almost positive they will not, due to the pool. I think they both have 7 or 8 rumbles.
Yeah, they both at least have 7. Seon Saren might have 8, not sure. Either way, this is the classic let's hold hands down to 7th and 8th scenario here.
They're going together, that's for sure.
And they definitely are. Yeah, and it's like I mentioned, like this is the point in round 5 where the mech infiltrator build really starts to drop off if you have 2 players contesting each other and they're both like hitting average builds, which is exactly what's happening here. There's a rumble. Okay.
There's a rumble. I'm pretty sure he's not finding the last one unless they start getting sold on the other side.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember how many 3 stars there are across the board.
I
Because
believe
I'm
it's
pretty sure they both have 7 right now. And the same with Kaisa as well. Even though there's more of them in the pool, it gets really hard to find them. Oh no. Oh, that's so rough. Oh no.
It's the mech showdown for the mechs.
Yep, that's right. So it's 7 rumbles to 8 rumbles. And the Kaisas, it's 7 rumbles to 8, 7 Kaisas to 8 Kaisas.
Well, who will win?
Let's hold hands
I think
together.
Soju won this. Wait a
Oh
minute.
no.
The GA might actually save him.
Yep.
Oh,
Soju
none
did.
of them died.
Well, they're both alive, but yeah, so Becca goes out in 8th. Oh no. Oh, that might actually make it so she gets just barely bumped out of the top 8 later on the day.
It could be very,
That's
very
really scary for Becca now.
I mean, we mentioned this before. Becca has always been, does very, very well, or comes out at the bottom. It's always been a hit or miss for her.
She is definitely a streaky player as far as results. Today is a 7th, a 1st, a 2nd, and an 8th. So, yeah, it's either all or nothing in a lot of Becca's games. But we do see a lot of talent in a lot of those games. Sometimes.
Definitely.
So, Soju right now, knowing that it's probably over, I guess you put the GA on the mech.
You just roll anyways. Just hope.
Yeah.
Maybe I get
Against hope.
lucky, but it doesn't happen.
Yep. The GA on the mech may actually help him win a round or 2, but neither one of these players are going to top 4.
I'm just saying, potentially, he could top 4 purely off of the fact that, well, I mean, at least get 5th.
3
Purely
people
off
would have to die, and he would have to win right now.
Yeah,
It'll
like
be
off
challenging.
the mech, he could get top 5.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like he may be lucky to get top 6.
Yeah, Ine's gonna survive.
Oh no, Science Saren
HP.
lives. Oh, and there goes Soju. He is out in 7th place. Science Saren 1 HP. Oh, they held hands. But Science Saren dropped him off the cliff a little bit earlier. And of course, Science Saren gonna find the Kaisa 3 now. There you go. Rumble 3 incoming. Just wait. Would not
I
surprise
don't
me
think he
one
had enough
bit.
gold to do that. I'm
Did he have the money? Yeah, that's the thing.
pretty sure he didn't have enough gold for that.
So on board with Hong Lian now, who's going for the Slash Bros. What is he missing? He's missing the Karma, actually. It's a little bit strange because he's got this Cho'Gath in there, which you don't see a lot of times, and he doesn't have a Karma to buff up his Master Yi, so he's missing Mystic here. So we'll see how well this works.
He's got
But now,
Brawler Bros now.
yeah, Bash, Slash and Bash Bros.
He literally straight up has a Blade Master Cho'Gath.
Yeah, why not? You know.
He's not somebody, why not Cho'Gath? He's
Oh
actually had
man.
very, very good success.
I didn't notice that he had Blade Master Cho'Gath. And check that out. Oh wow, Scion Saren getting 4th place. He barely snuck in there. He did not deserve that 4th place. I'm just gonna put that out there. But he found the Kaisa 3, so he lived just long enough to die later.
Just saying, GA mech is a perfect stalling tactic.
Yep. Didn't work for Soju, but hey, you know. It happens, it works once in a while. So let's see. Who are we looking at right now? Godlike has a pretty okay looking Dark Stars comp. I didn't get to really analyze all of the items there.
Yeah,
Let's
they
see.
all do have really good comps. I think just with these placements, Honglian and as of now, Honglian and Kurum probably have secured themselves a spot in the finals tomorrow.
It seems that way. Godlike seems to have learned his lesson too, and has played this Dark Stars game a lot cleaner. So 5 Blade Masters, he could work in 6 Blade Masters. He's not going to. Okay, I was gonna say that would be crazy. He'd have to give up like Brawler or Chrono or something, but he had a chance there to put in 6 Blade Masters.
Just wait till 9, man. Just wait till 9. He's
Yeah,
ready.
he might.
He's saving the gold for that.
He's saving them. The funny thing is, you've got 4 brawlers, and because Cho'Gath is a Blade Master, he's one of the 6. You can't take him out, so you might as well keep him loaded up with HP. Here comes Karum, and Karum has a fairly weak Xerath here, but a fairly strong Jhin, and it's not going to make much of a difference, I guess.
Yeah, Shen is one of the biggest counters to Jhin, and so
Yeah,
it really is helping him tremendously here.
this is so funny.
He's
Do it.
pushing. He's
Just do
pushing.
it.
It's like, oh, what do I sell?
Not the Aurelia. You're not going to get Celestial.
He definitely sells a Shen.
Yeah. Okay, so there it is. 6 Blade Masters, including Cho'Gath. 6
Yeah.
Blade Master Cho'Gath, the dream.
You thought Slash Bros was dead? They just moved him over to a Blade Master comp.
Cho Bros now. All right, here we go. Cho and the Bros. This Master Yi is gonna just decimate everybody. By the way,
If he can
unless he
attack.
gets shot by Jhin. Oh my gosh, dude! This Jace 3. This Jace 3 was causing a big problem, but here comes Kale attacking like a boss, and Master Yi lives to yeet Jhin into oblivion, and
Yeah, I
that's
think
the
the
ghost.
accident had stopped the momentum from the Yi for a very, very long time, but eventually Yi was able to get his spells off and got in there.
Yeah. So Karam looks like he's on the verge of going 3rd, which would give him okay points. He did take a 6th and a 5th though, so a rough start of the day. But then he gained 10 from number 1. So a 3rd place here. I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep him in for the top 8. It's going to be really close. Remember we were saying it seemed like that overall 55 point threshold might be just where 8 drops off. And Karam is above 60, so he might have a chance to stay in. We'll see, even with this 3rd.
I think he should be fairly safe. I think Godlike is the one who really needs this win to even, have a chance, which he is looking very likely like he could secure 1st place for this.
Yeah, if he does that, he would go up to 59, and that might be just on the edge. Like he'd probably be like 7th or 8th out of 8, depending on how the games go in the next set.
Definitely.
It's gonna come down to the wire. Like there are gonna be some really, really close finishes to get into the final lobby tomorrow.
Godlike still has so much money. Hasn't gone to 9 yet. He's rolling down.
Yeah. Looking
Doesn't
for
looks like he doesn't
Azerath.
plan on going to 9 at all.
I think Azerath 2 is a bigger priority right now. At least that would be my guess. I would definitely replace a Poppy with a Xerath, although he does have 4 Vanguard. This is such an interesting build because that Force of Nature is giving him the opportunity to add some unique stuff in there.
Yeah, he decided to drop off the
Oh, that was so
Seraph.
smart. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Dropped the Seraphs on the Kassadin to get the disarm early in the fight, and that gave him such a cushion of damage leeway, and he actually won the round against Hong Lian because of it. You
Yep.
can't do that twice, but that was pretty clever.
You can if you find another cast too.
Yeah, I suppose you can. That is true. I think he might be looking. If he's looking for another Kassadin 2 right now, he is like the biggest brain player. And one thing's for sure, you know, Godlike's results have been very up and down. Oh, there's a Mord 3. The results have been very up and down, but he's made some very clever, very unorthodox moves here and there in the tournament. He's been fun to watch, no matter the results.
Yeah, he's made that is going to be a very, very strong Mordekaiser.
Yeah, this Kassadin's going to cast almost instantly anyway. The disarm goes maybe the direction you wouldn't want it to go. It didn't hit the Cho'Gath this time. Jay slams in though. And
God,
is this just stronger?
It's just steamrolling through everything around him, and he takes down Hong Lian. Wow,
That's it. Godlike getting the win, dude. So 2 first places for Godlike tonight. So 1st, 7th, 7th, 1st. Godlike, another one of those players that's just all or nothing, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's done very, very well today, and that performance just from today might actually be enough to secure him a spot in the finals with the way things have gone. It's all been
yeah.
It's been ridiculous.
Like we said, it's going to be close because that is his 3rd first place of the tournament, which is impressive. And that might help him win some tiebreakers. I don't know what our tiebreaker rules are, but certainly first places are important in that. So might have just barely clawed his way in there. Managed to take 3rd on the day in this lobby with 24 points, ties him with Karam, who also had a interesting, fairly solid day with another first place there. Becca with 21. She had okay points, but I'm curious to see the overall standings because that's going to tell us a lot more about people's chances to get into tomorrow. So players like Soju obviously out right now. Becca with 63 points. And I'm revising what I said earlier. It's looking more like Godlike may be the very bottom of who gets in. Because if you look at like Shendu, obviously going to be in the top 8. Impossible for him to get knocked out, essentially. Probably. Yeah, it's impossible. But Godlike being at 59 is under threat from players like Delicious Milk, Anya, Kiyun. So I think if I was Seihan Saren right now, I would be extremely worried and probably expecting to be knocked out. Godlike, maybe. So we'll see. There's definitely going to be a lot of movement in the top 8. Sanwen Yu is marginally safe. I think Becca's fairly safe.
Yeah, I think Becca's fairly safe. I think the cutoff would probably be very close to Saiyan and Godlike. Seihan Saren is probably not going to stay there due to the fact that, you know, if Delicious Milk doesn't go last in every game,
right,
you should probably just knock out Saihan regardless.
So if you consider that a good day for a player in this tournament is around 20 points, and you say probably like 3 players are going to have 20-point days or around there, that means that most likely, you know, anybody in the 50s is going to get knocked out.
Yeah, so it'll be very, very Godlike will probably do very well if he has tiebreakers due to the fact that I think I remember the rules correctly. It's the number of first places is the first tiebreaker, followed by your average placing. And so your number of first places is going to make a big difference when it comes down to it.
Well, Godlike certainly has an edge there with 3 firsts, but a lot to think about, a lot to look forward to as we think about our second set coming up after the break. So it'll be a 10-minute break, guys. And when we come back, the final 4 games of the Starside Invitational, as far as group play goes, we're going to find out after those 4 games who the 8 players are going to the finals tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. It's going to come down to the wire. So don't miss it. We'll see you in 10.